This is it. The final, the ultimate conclusion to Cookie Clicker. Every single achievement will be mine after nearly 6,000 hours according to Steam. Oh, at least until more updates are added to the game. I mean, we still got like dungeons, for example. That's been in the works for over 10 years at this point. But anyway, until that point, got 350 sugar lumps. Well, 351 now. And I am all ready to start getting the rest of the building upgrades. Of course, this is not the original save file. This is the one that I created for this particular series. Because, you know, I wanted to have two separate sort of versions. One where I'm not cheating at all. Of course, no save scumming or anything like that. Minus the time that I used save scumming to get the Trevigentillion cookies. But I mean, aside from that, it's a much... Compared to the other save file where, oh boy, the amount of save scumming. I mean, people made it very clear that they did not mind me cheating a little bit to speed up the gardening and all that. So I appreciate it. It makes it so that I don't have to wait another calendar year, another 6,000 hours to actually finish up this game. Still, though, I think it's a completely reasonable thing for me to be able to do this. After all, I have the code. It's right here. It's producing cookies for me in a fun Matrix reference. I've conquered multiverses. I've created gigantic brains that can just imagine cookies out of nothing. Cloned myself. The code is right there is what I'm really getting at here. It's like, is it really unreasonable that we do a little bit of save scumming, you know, as a treat? Anyway, okay, so this is also, I think, just better to be able to be on this other save file because, of course, otherwise it would just be a big montage of me having achievement pop up on the bottom of the screen over and over, which I don't think is nearly as interesting as actually getting in here and clicking on the individual buttons myself. You know, that's a lot more satisfying. Also, I may have deleted the footage of me unlocking those other achievements for the first time when I was cleaning up space on my hard drive. But I mean, no, more satisfying. Let's just go with that. I think that's a lot more important. Also, yes, is this happening on April 1st? Yes. There's no jokes here, though. I'm actually doing this. I am finishing Cookie Clicker. How many people can say that? All right. Starting out. There are, of course, individual little bits of lore that you get by leveling up stuff. Cursors give you extra fingers. Already did that, of course, for getting some of the stock market unlocks. You know, going from credit garages all the way up to the Palace of Greed, which is a lot of fun. Close that here. But to begin with, we got grandmas who are now going to be years older. So Muriel, age 91. I should probably turn this off, the "Are you sure?" Age 92. Instantaneously becoming older and more powerful. Isn't that right, Stinky? Okay, anyway. Get rid of the confirmation. That is going to... we don't need this taking any longer than it's already going to. Bam, 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 bam. And 10. Methuselah. Level 10 grandmothers. Stinky's all the way up to age 96. Then, of course, I already have level 10 farms. I mean, farms are one of the few things you actually get benefits for leveling up. 10 extra acres. I assume that's 10 acres times 803. That still doesn't really make much sense at all. It's like I have entire multiverses to work with. What are they? And I know one of the upgrades that you get for the think tank. Yeah, sure. Thanks, April Fools. Is being able to grow synergy between farms, apparently growing stuff on the brains? Something like that. Moving on. Mines, we're going 0 miles deeper. 10 miles is not even all that much now, is it? But at the same time, deeper. If that's a reference, I have no idea what it is. No surprise. I feel like that's half the things in this game. But, hey. Oh, 0 additional patents. Patents? Ugh. Well, I mean, these are all the early ones. I suppose they're going to be the patently genius. These are going to be the less impressive sort of things to be gotten, right? At least that's the way that I'm going to be looking at it. All right. Level 1 banks. Give me 10% better interest rates. It's a capital idea. Ooh. Anyway. Ugh, utterly silly. All right. I'm trying to even remember what other things that I had. I know that I also had level 10 U's from the beginning. Optimize good at 10 genomes. Self-improvement indeed. Now, is spending 6,000 hours playing this game really anything that you could, anything resembling improvement? I don't know about that. By the way, I'm looking really quick. It's just like, what do other ones? Okay, apparently I also got Portal, Temples, and the Towers. Those are the last ones that I had unlocked. I guess Portal specifically because there is one of the Grandma Apocalypse sort of upgrades that you can get that allows you to get a little bit more synergy with that. I'm actually running out of more sugar lumps than I thought I would. Am I going to have to go? Am I going to have to go and save stuff? No, but let's at least grab a Bizarro World. Yeah, let's get the Superman references out here. Why not? Okay, I'm actually out of sugar lumps. Well, that was quick. Somehow I'm not surprised. I know Alexandria is the one you get for 0 external libraries because of Library of Alexandria, of course. I'm gonna go switch back to my other save file, I guess. All right, here we go. The proper save file where I got level 12 cursors and 521. And it was, what was it, 425? So you know I've been putting this video off for a while. Good stuff. Good stuff. As level 10 temples, getting sacred artifacts for the sake of getting, what was it even? Come on now, It belongs in a bakery. Has more references. Motor Mouth for the level 10 wizard towers. Got Bizarro World, and then there's Alexandria. Now, no, give me the rest of them. I wonder if anything's going to actually happen. This is something I never looked into. Is something going to happen once I level up everything? I don't know. I suppose I'll turn off the confirmation, please, again. It's something that I think would be important if I didn't have literally 500 of these sugar lumps. 10 galaxies fully explored, not even remotely. And they're done that. Hey, and there's a proper achievement too. Not even remotely close to the size of the universe, of which I have control over multiple. 10 primordial elements is starting to get actually kind of impressive. Like primordial elements, I can believe that there's only so many of those there. Phlogisticated? I am not even entirely sure. I think float something is like, that was what it was originally theorized to be filling the universe. Like, oh, when you look up into the night sky, that was filled with whatever that is. I'm not entirely sure. 10 dimensions over here. 10 centuries. Oh, come on. We have more than 10 centuries, currently. Belong now. Currently more than 10 centuries in our calendar, in the current calendar. I'm not going to I guess I could level it up more, but still. Extra quark flavors. Ooh. I'm pretty sure there's only 6 flavors of quarks. What is it? Charm, spin, strange, whatever the other ones are. Yeah, whatever. We got 10 of them now. Get those chubby hadrons out here. Wait. Before I continue on with prisms, there is one more thing with having level 10 antimatter condensers. In World 6 of Bestified, right after a contest of speed and right before, of course, World 6 Town, there was My Hotel. And at the very beginning of the level, I believe you had something interesting to say. Only unlocks if you reach level 10 with your antimatter condensers. So finally, after a good 2 years or so it's been, I can figure out what's behind this door. Oh, it's not working. Oh, I hope this isn't one of those super obscure unlocks, so they didn't test it very well. Oh, I might have to go file a bug report about this. 0 new colors discovered. Yes, we're just going in, mixing together a bunch of paint, more or less, on this one. For palatable. That's a good pun. By 10 leaf clovers by the end of this. Not that that's going to be reflected in the actual... We'll leave it at that. Now that it's going to be reflected in the actual sprite being used. Level 0 fractal engines going only 10 iterations deep. You can do so much more with a fractal engine. A shame, because I think fractal engine has some of my favorite the flavor text of any of the things. Sierpinski rhomboids. And I already got the level 10 JavaScript consoles. We got 0 manifolds of other idle verses that I'm taking over. It's still such an absurd concept that this game is just, yeah, hey, you know, what if Cookie Clicker just took over other games like Cookie Clicker? Bam! Strange topologies. And, finally, level 0 Cortex Bakers. 10 extra IQ points, which I'm fairly certain that the sort of IQ that these Cortex Bakers have is probably completely insignificant and, like, could easily be ascribed to a statistical error or so. Well, give it to me anyway. Bam! Gifted. Oh my god. I'll just post a picture of my current Steam. What it looks like there. Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Look at it. Look at the little medal that I got. It's there. It's there, baby. I did it. Oh, that's it. That is all of Cookie Clicker. Finally. Oh. It's actually only been, you know, about a year and a half or so, but like 6,000 hours feels like so much more. Oh. But it's done. I've done it. I beat Cookie Clicker. I have finished Cookie Clicker. Oh, it's amazing, isn't it? I can even go more. I mean, I'm still getting benefit from one of my like super upgrades that I got for my aura gloves. No, which ones? It goes luminous gloves, effective up to cursor level 20. So I suppose if I really wanted to level up anything, what does it matter? This is it. I've conquered it. I'm here. I have finished Cookie Clicker. Excellent. Amazing stuff. And of course, I am going to be coming back if there's any more updates. I did quite enjoy my time with this game, but what an absolutely absurd time that it's been. Okay, I am going to interrupt myself because I might have been getting a little bit too excited to finally finish the game. I didn't even notice that the sound was off the entire time. Oh, not that you really need to listen to more of the music. I had that playing plenty over the course of this. But yes, that is indeed everything. You saw the blue and yellow medal that I got on Steam. I have 100% completed Cookie Clicker. Look at it. 622, plus a grand total of 15. And if that's all you were looking for out of this video, well, that's it. But one extra thing that I did want to do is go and do a little bit of a deep dive into the Cookie Clicker lore, not in any sort of very structured or specific way, but finally look through some of the achievements that I didn't really get to see, or various upgrades or whatever. Because, for example, when I was getting near the end of it, I didn't even notice stuff like, hey, here's the 10% myth or something like that. Here's overcrowding, have 300 U. And why not have, close out the series looking at everything, every single thing that you can possibly get in this game. And I certainly do have it all, even stuff that doesn't have, specific achievements related to them, like the various cookies that exist, the ones you get from the garden, stuff like that. First off, let's take a look at my stats. Cookies baked all time 8.142 trevigentillion. Yeah, to get the one, you really don't need to go too much more than that, even though I did end up doing it anyway. I mean, that's why I have 1,015 ascensions, because I did a couple extra ascensions at different points in time because I'm bored doing the garden. I want to go and actually buy upgrades and stuff like that again. Of course, my last run started 232 days ago, so it's been a little bit since I decided to do that. Oh, nearly half the time that I have been. This entire thing has been going on. 584 days. And yet, apparently, Cookie clicks 9,363. Which is interesting because, I got 27,777 golden cookies. Goes to show you how much you actually need to be clicking on the cookie. All the special stuff still has April 1st things going on. Money made from selling cookies. TV show seasons produced. Yeah. Got my Santa, got my dragon, and going down to prestige. This is when we start to get into the actual sort of interesting stuff. Persistent memory's not too much. It's all making sense. Again. And continued to make sense over the 1,000 times that I ascended. Inspired checklists, snazzy grandma accessories, trans-dimensional abominations, a bunch of eggs. A lot of eggs. Got a ton of them. Of course, those snazzy grandma accessories, stuff like gigantic cartoonishly oversized 4-leaf clovers and oh so many rolling pins. Why not? Genius accounting. Extra price information. It's funny because a lot of that doesn't even really matter too much. It's just, hey, oh, yeah, I'm going to get a bunch of, I'm going to learn that the next time that I'm going to be able to afford this is, afford a single rolling pin is 2,044 days from now. It's like, nah, when you're getting stuff, it's like, it's all about combos, baby. It's not about just the raw cookies per second. That's ridiculous. Star Spawn. Of course, right now, Star Trade is happening. I pretty much constantly had it on business day for, what, like most of the time that I was playing, just so I got as many golden cookies as possible, because that's the most bonus you get. Why not maximize it, even if, it ends up making everything very confusing. Doctrine, stuff like that. Keepsakes, tin of British tea biscuits. Tea time is all the time, even though I never actually get any tea in this game. Which I suppose, like, isn't there this, like, sucralosa thing? No, that's a berry. Starter kit, starter kitchen. Smite that cookie. Less times than you smite golden cookies, though. Goes to just show you exactly how important golden cookies are compared to just the regular cookie. Sure, that might be the mascot of the game, but yeah. Unique in the animal kingdom, the wrinkler digestive tract is able to withstand an incredible degree of dilation, provided you prod them appropriately. Okay. Yeah, Old Spice references. Yeah, there's cursor level up to 20. I do have 26 sugar lumps left. I could get a couple more levels into gloves, but what's even the point? Up to power clicks to absurd levels, also quite handy when you want to light up the darkness on your way back from Glove World. SpongeBob reference. Little wrinkly cookies. That's... I don't know if I want to eat that. I mean, they also sound like they're incredibly stale. Which is also something with the Elder Biscuit cookie, too. Sort of interesting. Supernatural sweetness grown by the angels in heavenly gardens. I never really see any sort of angels. It's mostly just abominations and evil grandmothers in this game. Eye of the Tiger. Darkest abyss. From the angels to the darkest abysses of the underworlds to get my sugar lumps sooner. Let me tell you, the more of these upgrades I got, the easier that it became to actually deal with the huge amount of sugar lumps. That it still was just the thing that was stopping, the true ending of this series from coming out. And oh boy, once again, I am very glad to see that it is finally over. Sought after by the most avid collectors with too much wealth on their hands. And considering that I'm currently sitting on 51 dual vision-tillion cookies, I think that describes me only too well. Especially now that, you know, we are currently on business day, aren't we? Sugar crystal cookies. Yeah, I actually kind of got I got the maximum current plus 25% because everything is level 10 or higher. There you go. It is still absolutely absurd to me that all of the level 10 buildings count as their own achievement. If they were all shadow achievements or something like that, that would be one thing. But, well, they're not. Oh god, the box of maybe cookies, the box of not cookies, box of pastries is just a slippery slope is what they are. That's, you know, I don't know if I could put it better myself. Macaroons, not to be confused with macaroons. Funny enough, I actually did confuse macaroons with macaroons for just a very long time. I think they are both almond cookies, right? Actually, now I don't even know. Also, hey, reference to Macarena in the year of our Lord, 2026. I thought we left that back in the 90s. I don't want to ever see that again. Bran biscuits. Yeah, for the permanent upgrade slots, I just ended up using the most expensive butter biscuits because, this takes so long to get. Although I guess with like the sheer amount of heavenly chips that I have at this point in time, it's really not too bad. And then otherwise, just expensive stuff. Angels. Which of course are specifically pastry heaven angels. It's like, come on, we're not going to have... We've already seen through the temples themselves that all religions kind of are traced back apparently to cookies. Yeah. Smooth functioning of the world's largest bakeries. You mean mine? My bakery. I don't even know if there are other ones. There's like the cookie stock that I can get in the stock market, and that's about it. I mean, they make it very clear that you have sort of pushed out every and any other competitors that exist. Honestly, it feels more like a sort of money laundering operation than anything else. And of course, Kitten Angels. Well, here, let's go look at that for a second. Why not? You know, I'm not in any rush at this point in time. We're done, baby. Palace agreed. Level 10 everything. It's just beautiful. Could go buy a bunch of sugar stocks if I wanted to. I don't care. But yeah, Cookie from Self-Made Baker. He's the ones based on, yeah, of course, the why am I not thinking of the word? Well, you know what I mean. Self-Made Bakery's largely inferior product. Going for $100. Fractal engines, that's what they're called. Because, you know, it's self-referential. That's fun. Kitten wages, because I just started paying cats at some point. Well, I mean, all the cats are supposed to be working for me in one way or another. That is their lore. And cat ladies, which even the flavor text is not a fan of. Yep. God, like Santa, but less fun. You know, that's a way to put it. It's true. Aged like milk. Aged milk is just delicious cheese, really. Not that you get too much of that. Well, no, you don't have ricotta cookies. I do like a ricotta cookie. I like making those around the old Christmas time sort of stuff. Not that it's like you need to make them at other points in time. It's just I don't know. They feel like a fun Christmas sort of thing, right? And then on the demon side of stuff, surprisingly enough, not nearly as much stuff related to cookies. Now, though Abaddon governing the Wrinkler brood, inspiring their insatiability. Yes, Abaddon being related to like sloth or greed. Usual sort of thing. Shay in there. Significantly less fun than Santa. Asmodeus draws power from the all-consuming desire for cookies and all things sweet. Got the old synergies, which there's, gonna be looking through the synergy stuff too, especially the synergies volume 2 never really saw too much of because, well, I just got them pretty much immediately as they appeared. They didn't really slowly come up so you could actually see what individual upgrades that I was getting. Lucifer looking somewhat familiar, it seems. And Synergies Volume 2. Advanced Luck. It's another reference to the Rock Bottom episode of SpongeBob. Less clicking, more idling. Yeah, but, I mean, you gotta click on that. I mean, you could be clicking on the cookie. Just less clicking, I guess, on golden cookies. They do make a good point that clicking on golden cookies is still clicking on cookies. It is completely and totally within the wheelhouse of what this game's title promises. And gave me. Yeah. Fortune comes in many flavors. Mostly luck, though. The language this game uses for luck is pretty often gold. But then again, I suppose we do have, you don't have golden grandmas for the chance maker. That's for the transmutation devices. Someone special deserves a special price. Oh, is it me? Are you talking about me? Thank you so much, Divine Discount. Oh, and then this one. Which, I mean, considering I had 1,000 in total ascensions, no surprise that getting 3 or 4 sevens it was eventually going to happen. And I mean, hey, it's more golden cookies, so you know I had to get it. That's maybe the one maybe the one upgrade that you might have missed out on. Empty file makes for a great pencil holder. Tastes glittery. If I couldn't even imagine eating glitter. That just sounds like the worst experience possible. I just feel like it would stick to my throat, and I would probably start coughing a lot the second that I even tried. Fortune cookies. Which, I mean, not even... Kind of funny that they're not even considered to be cookies. So when I'm clicking on the cookie, well, right now it only appears as money because of April 1st, but... Yeah. Good old cosmic beginner's luck. Use that one a lot, mostly when getting the various holiday stuff more than anything else. Reinforced membrane, another one of those things that I hardly ever use. Could just go turn it on right now, even if I didn't feel like clicking, but it doesn't matter. None of this matters. Glittering edge just within reach, yet at what cost? All of these upgrades are irrelevant. How to bake your dragon. Tome full of helpful tips like, oh god, stay away from it, why do we buy this thing, it's not even housebroken, and groom twice a week in the direction of the scales. I'm sure at this point in time, old Crumblors doesn't need me to do that, or I could hire 10,000 people to do that a second. Dragons do not purr. I mean, they are very cat-like, as we know from the Lord of the Rings movies. 10 butter cookies. 5 varieties of Danish cookies, complete with little paper cups. The traditional way to serve a butter cookie. Classic dairy selection, fanciful dairy selection, but of course, I don't care about strong bones for the skeleton army. I only care about regular... Look, I earned this hazelnut milk. I'm not going to change it. I mean, for a really long time, I just had it completely turned off so I could see golden cookies easier. Right? You ever think about the physicality of this place? Where are you putting up these wallpapers? Are you putting these wallpapers in your office or something? Where are you anyway? So yes, when it comes to cookie clicker lore, sometimes even the game doesn't really have an answer for that. Like, what is the cookie? I mean, it's a cookie. I got that as an upgrade. one of the many cookies that I got here. Yeah, the chocolate chip cookie. This is the cookie you've been clicking the whole time. So clearly there is a giant cookie within this game somewhere. It's my office seems to also be a good guess because going way down into, I believe it's Fractal Engine. Here we are. What's in that box is a tiny replica of your office, and there's even a little U in there. And what's in this desk? Say, that's an even tinier box. And a little U is opening it, revealing an even tinier office. And in that office, there's, you can think of a couple uses for this. Yeah, which says to me that what you're looking at is apparently my office. So there you go, distinguished wallpaper assortment. That's what it is. Yeah, golden cookies, sir, alert sound, a sound decision indeed. An essential decision. Heavenly chips, otherworldly flavor that transcends time and space. It's just milk chocolate, but yeah, don't let them know that. Harold's, it's getting steamy. I get it. I don't actually know. They have the same sort of thing on the browser version. I mean, they must, right? Or some variety. I know that there is there are steamed cookies on the Steam version, and then there's a different upgrade on label printer is also self-referential tier. Fine. To see its upgrade tier. Purely cosmetic, have no effect on gameplay. However, they are cosmetic and they do come up with their own lore. Unshackled flavor, talking about innate aromas being expressed their most unadulterated. And then going on, we got beryllium, a synthetic gem with a simple shine to it, sticky to the touch and susceptible to melting in high heat. It is frequently used within the food industry rather than as adornment, as its atomic structure imparts a vaguely fruity flavor. Berry flavored, I would think. Blue beryllium, refinement of beryllium, sharing nearly the same chemical makeup, save for a few supplementary esters. Affects the flavor as well as the visual spectrum resonance, which is quite the way to say color. Gel-clad honey, found in complex nodules within the fossilized remains of ancient forests. It's amber, in other words. Purified, becomes a semi-valuable stone with a pleasant, waxy smell. It is also honey, I guess, too. Bright orange. Butter gold, which, to be honest, if you just called that unflavored, I probably wouldn't even notice, except for that little shine there. Famously invented by the chef's son of two molecular physicists, neither closely related to butter nor gold, yet similar in nutrition value. Okay. This glimmering substance can be frozen to preserve its hardness at room temperature, only regaining malleability when heated up. You're just describing butter. You are just describing butter at this point. Also, yeah, that's it's a good bit. Similar nutrition value to butter and gold. You do use gold sometimes in food. I think those really fancy chocolates that, you know, at the extremely expensive hotels they wrap up and put on pillows. It's like, as long as it's 100% gold, you can eat it. It doesn't do anything for you, but still. Sugar muck refers to the gradual crust that seems formed spontaneously in the vicinity of candy-making equipment. Long ignored by confectioners, its harvesting process was discovered simultaneously in multiple countries during a global beet shortage. Well, not anymore. Certainly, the amount of juicy beets that I've created should do something, or the amount of sugar lumps that I just spent. I don't actually know. These things are described as like fist-sized lumps of sugar. The difference between lore and gameplay is sometimes weird because it feels like I should be able to buy literal planet-sized lumps of sugar, but well, that's just not how that works. Or however sugar muck would actually work when used for baking, when not during a beet shortage. I don't know. Unshackled jet mint. The striking taste of jet mint made it popular in the manufacture of very kind of coffee side treats until the awareness of its mild radioactivity became widespread. Today its main uses are in cosmetics, owing to the refreshing sensation it produces on contact. I guess in the Cookie Clicker universe, mint appears to be radioactive. Or something. I don't know. It's weird because that's not really... This does not look like anything what I would associate with mint. Like the coloration of the cookie here. Maybe like the green outline at most. Nah, it doesn't make any sense to me. Cherry silver. Patented alloy with peculiar aromatic properties. It's non-edible, but produces strong flavor responses while losing very little of its mass when licked. Like most things don't lose a lot of mass when licked, though this also leaves a harmless red tinge upon the tongue. Okay. At least that's something that is... I mean, it says non-edible, but it does seem like something that you can comparatively eat, looking at a lot of the other stuff. Hazelrald. Like emerald, but hazel? He's a freeable? I don't even know. I am actually not... I am not familiar with that word. I heard it for the first time in this game. Complex green-brown inner reflections, considered ornamental in some cultures. In others, may be consumed in small quantities as an upper-scale treat. Sure. Moon candy! Some get mixed up with the trademark snack of the same name, made popular following into discovery. It makes me sound... It makes that sound like they're... That sounds like a reference. I don't know. Moon candy is a very real mineral isolated within space dust underneath astronaut boots. Wow. So I have to keep sending people to the moon so that you can scrape their boots for moon candy. Up to its own devices in open air, moon candy naturally spreads out and grows. Okay. All right. Just a little bit of red alert there. Just a little bit. When you heat up shimmering syrup oozing from moon candy using a special caramelization process, you get astrofudge. Astrofudge is delicious and safe for humanoid consumptions in certain quantities. Consult your local food safety agency for more details, which is owned by me, so I should probably know that, and I should probably have that in my description. I wonder if that is also a reference to the Red Alert series. I don't know if that actually is. The old alien spreading stuff infection is a pretty common type of cliche. I think about, the War of the Worlds had that one red plant. Alabas cream. Like alabaster and cream. Molecularly related to dairy, alabas cream occurs naturally at high altitudes, forming in wispy filaments that were long indistinguishable from clouds. An expensive delight, it's also known as pilot's bane. Sure. Iridium. Iridium shares little in common with any other material known to mankind. Rather than simply smelled, it can be tasted from a distance. I mean, smell is often associated with taste. I mean, it's not the only thing, but I would say that it's associated with it. Remaining long in its presence is ill-advised. Some high-end underground megacomputers may incorporate iridium as part of its electronic components. It's no description of what it actually tastes like or anything, but taste it certainly does do. Glucosium is a glossy metal whose flavor matrix is bound to the current subjective chroma. Taste depends on colors that it's currently reflecting. Impractical to consume safely, its industrial applications range from transcontinental ballistics to paint varnish. The farther you get down here, the weirder these things get. And finally, Glimmerang. That's sort of a white and pink. Channel colors, by the way. Type of the final achievement and upgrade for most everything. Lightweight, digestible, and endlessly fragile, Glimmerang not only enjoys a privileged position in the spectacle cooking industry, it also shares most of its other properties with asbestos, save for thermal insulation, the one thing that people used asbestos for. Look, let me tell you, I don't actually eat any of my cookies. That would be absurd. Have you seen what goes into them? And then we got all the unshackled different stuff. Never too old. Considering that you literally make people older when you upgrade them. I suppose that is true, isn't it? Till the universe. Or 10 acres of 800 farm plots. Which, again, that's a good amount, but it's not multiverse spanning amount. The meaning of depth, which is apparently 10 miles deeper for every one of, compared to whatever my original minds were at. Nothing to lose but your production chains. All times highs, all the time, make a religion out of this, and indeed, yeah, Temples has kind of a funny thing, because it initially starts out Indiana Jones, and then it immediately goes to, wait, no, we're just making new religions now. A spell for everything, everywhere at once, in the shipments, anything you can see you can make, parallels unparalleled, fun wordplay going on there. All the time in the world as my eyes turn into clocks and start spinning backwards. My favorite dumb thing to say in these videos since 2017. No scale too large or too little. No upper limits. Brilliance. Brilliance has no upper limits. Talking about light, but I mean, I do think that light certainly does have an upper limit, doesn't it? Chance makers, uncontained fractal engines. Rewrite your reality, which I have looked into the code of this before. It's just there. You can just open it up. You can see how everything works if you want to. All the internal workings of the game. Wait even faster for idle verses. I mean, I did. I do think that one of the things about an idle game is, you should really be measuring it based on how many options does it give you to kind of speed things up, right? Yeah, I've seen a lot of these ones. Of course, stuff like ambidextrous quickly turning into 1,000 fingers, which makes it very powerful up until, of course, grandmas get their upgrades, and then themes. Clickety, clickety, and then it just ends with click on quadrillion fingers there. Yeah, it's really easy. Just do it. Just click on the cookie. Even though, again, I clicked on more than twice as many. I don't know if... I feel like that statistic that they gave me may have just been... cursory flavor text. I get it. The number they gave me up there in the statistics might have been only for this run, but... who knows? Nonillion fingers only for the freakiest handshakes. Oh, docillion fingers and undecillion fingers. Whatever you touch turns to dough in your clutch. You're too much. Me. I'm too much. Never want another day that's over 40 degrees. I'd rather have it 2010, 2030, 2010, and then just let it freeze. Look like it's 1349. And then, yeah, there's also that question of what exactly is the cursor too? It definitely seems to be a real thing, but also, yes, and then so many all-star references in this game. I guess the reality is that there is some sort of literal gigantic cursor and literal gigantic cookie, or maybe just a very small one. There's nothing that says exactly how large this cookie is. Although I suppose this Army Thrill mouse... these names, by the way, like Fantasteel, Wish Alloy, Illudium, Unobtainium makes a certain amount of sense, like Adamantium I've seen before, but these feel like references that I do not get. Like, Fantasteel sounds like a thing. But yes, the Army Thrill. Mithril. This one takes 53 people to push around, another 48 to jump up and down on the button trigger click. You could say it's got some heft to it. So yeah, no, it is definitely gigantic. Techno Obsidian. It's gotta be a reference. It's gotta be, right? Neither science nor philosophy, miraculite. Science nor philosophy are equipped to conceptualize, and boy, does it ever click. I mean, the amount of absolutely nonsensical materials that I make things out of in this game is unmatched, apparently. And finally, the Omniplast mouse. Strange elements present in every single space at once in a manner alleviates its user from needing to move it around, redirecting such kinetic force into the intensity of its clicks. And it doesn't even matter. Right? Forwards from Grandma. Yeah, I definitely saw most of these. Things like the old, extreme walkers and everything as I was getting these, because Grandmas had been around for, of course, long enough that getting their stuff, it's just like, getting Grandmas and especially the cursors were rather easy. More time passes, the older they get. I see. This should concern you. I feel like I threw out all concern when it came to Grandmas when they warned me about clicking on the one mind thing. Visits. Sample size 12 million. 12 million in a double blind. Oh, and again, multiple universes. I suppose I can have millions of people looking at stuff for me. Grandmas will tend to gradually fill up all nearby cabinets with all various sorts of things, like his curious coconut snacks or dietetic powders. Powders related to diet. By contract, they're legally yours, which will have exciting opportunities for your substance investigation department, because we need more of those. More substances around. I have, like, mithril stuff. Foam tip canes, perhaps a result of the prolonged service, your grandmas have developed all kinds of odd and aggressive hierarchies among themselves, and foam tip canes will help them not hurt each other as bad during their endless turf wars. That's the ultimate upgrade that I got for grandmas. Alright, sure. Farmer grandmas, which, yeah, I remember seeing these pretty much as I got them. Nice witch grandma to cast zip, a zoop, and a poof cookies. Cosmic grandma's a nice thing too. Cookies. Nice golden grandma to convert into more cookies. I don't like the idea of my cookies being made out of grandmothers. Grandmas. Nice grandma to bake double the cookies. I don't think that's how that works. And a mean anti-grandma to vomit more cookies. Sparkling more cookies. Fortunate that finds more cookies. A fractal grandma to make more grandmas to make more cookies. Yes, a digital grandma to transfer more cookies. See also Boolean grandmas, string grandmas, and not a number grandmas, otherwise known as nans. It's cute. That's a cute one. A different grandma to bake something else. That's something else. Cookies. Hey, not all cookies are cookies. Some of them are different kinds of cookies. Clever grandma to think up cookies, and then yet another grandma to replicate even more cookies. As you do. Cheap hose. Fertilizer. It probably is actually chocolate. Considering everything we've seen in this game up until this point, it's either chocolate or some sort of unknowable element that makes no sense. You know, as you do. Cookie tree is a relative of the breadfruit. Yeah, it's a real staple crop that I'm making here. I mean, by the time that I was done with it, yes. I don't think people eat much of anything else. Except for me, which I can only hope does eat anything else at all. Gingerbread scarecrows. No such thing as overwatering. The moistest is the bestest for pulsar sprinklers. No, as we learned from Stardew Valley, better sprinklers just make it so that they hit in a larger area. They don't put extra water into the same place. It doesn't matter. Fudge fungus, a sugary parasite whose tendrils help cookie growth. Please do not breathe in the spores. In case of spore ingestion, seek medical help within the next 36 seconds. Gotta spend money to make money, right? Wheat triffids. Taking care of your crops so much easier when your plants can just walk around and help themselves to the farm and spit poison in people's eyes, presumably. Do not pet, do not feed, do not attempt to converse with. Humane pesticides made by people, for people, from people, ready to unleash some righteous scorching pain on those pesky insects that so deserve it. 180 extra production for being made of people on farms, which are currently doing, let's take a look. 1% of my total stuff. I guess that's something. I was actually thinking it was just going to be 0%. Barn Stars, which sounds like a reference to something. That sounds like a reality television show where they go to barns and buy stuff. That's the only thing that I can imagine right now. I don't know. Lindworms. Pour these from far up north. They really help aerate the soil. Again, probably a reference. Global Seed Vault. Genetic repository that can outlive an apocalypse. Yeah. Guarantees the survival of your empire, or at the very least the agricultural components should civilization fall, which should be any day now. I mean, we'll find out that I do have more than one sort of, secondary plan B type of thing in case civilization falls over the course of this. Reverse veganism. Plants aren't for eating. Plants are for exploitative agriculture and astronomical profit margins. Okay. Cookie mulch. Grinding surplus cookies into a paste that you then send spread. Surplus cookies. Strange feedback loop improving the quality of your cookie crop. Cookie feeding on cookies should be an abomination, but why does it taste so good? Yeah, you can't get prion diseases from a cookie. I hope. I'm fairly certain even the sort of components that would be like, animal stuff like butter, I don't think those can be infected by prions. These are the real questions that I gotta ask now, right? Self-driving tractors. Embarked AI let your field vehicles sow and harvest cookie crops at any time of day or night with so few human casualties too. So if we learned anything from me playing that 10-hour episode that I made of Satisfactory, it's that self-driving tractors are an important part of any sort of self-sufficient company. Moving on. Yeah, I saw a bunch of the mine stuff. Pink volatile gas found in the depths of some chocolate caves. Why is this useful? I don't know. And why is something that's sugar pink? Like, people know what sugar looks like. Besides, pink in this game is equivalent to beryllium, not to, sugar. Sugar has a very clear look. You can see it at all points in time in my sugar lumps, after all. Ultima Drill, get that sweet Gurren Lagann reference that even the game is kind of blasé about, as you do. H-bomb mining, questionable efficiency. I mean, I wouldn't even be worried about the efficiency. I would just be worried about the effectiveness. You would be destroying stuff most of the time, and the stuff that wasn't destroyed would be irradiated because it's H-bombs. Pretty warm down there. Could use that. It could use old Core Forge to, I guess, bake more cookies, right? I guess. Planet Splitters. New state-of-the-art excavators have been tested on Marula, Globort, and whatever that is, and other distant planets, which have been curiously quiet lately. Whatever. Probably found some sort of cookie-related zombies, as you do. Canola oil wells. Untapped resource. Permeates the underground, which offers its particular taste and lucrative properties, as canola oil is. Mole people, engineered from real human beings within your very labs. These sturdy folks have a knack for finding tastiest underground minerals in conditions that more expensive machinery probably wouldn't survive. More expensive machinery, yeah? Yeah. Mine canaries. Mine just enjoy having a pet or two down there. We're not killing... Look, I don't care about literally turning people into a bunch of... fertilizer or whatever it was. I can't even remember now. Pesticides. But those canaries are fine. Don't worry. After extracting so much sediment, you've formed some veritable mountains of your own from the accumulated piles of rock and dirt. And then just dig through them again. Plus 170% extra production. Dug your drills, found just about every solid surface you can find. Untold riches hiding within non-solid surfaces, like air mining. Next up, we got caramel alloys, and I think I'm just going to take a break every few rows because there are a lot of these, and I want a drink of water. Your geologists have isolated a family of once overlooked sugary ores that, when combined, may be turned into even more cooking ingredients. Like caramel, for my caramel cookies, or even the millionaire shortbreads that are just right next to it. Gotta get those plus 4% cookie production multipliers after all. Delicious mineralogy. Stratum after stratum, you've extracted strange and new minerals heretofore unknown to geology. Ushering a new era of materials research, your scientists have been able to identify every new element your minds discovered, including whatever those things are in the upgrade tier names. Which they did sort of explain that back with my unshackled upgrades, but I don't know. This game has been around for a very long time and has gotten a lot of updates. Maybe these didn't exist when they made this upgrade? Yeah, who knows? Look, I started playing this game relatively recently. I don't really know exactly when stuff was added. But I suppose we can also chalk that up to the lore being somewhat inconsistent in this game? No, never. And then mineshaft sports. Limit the number of daily cave-ins. Yep, it is really... I feel like a lot of the Glimmerang stuff is usually simple sort of solutions to stuff. I always think, of course, of the U upgrade, reading your clones' bedtime stories. Which is the ultimate, like one of the ultimate upgrades that you can get. And then on to the factory. Yes, just after I finished a good 8-hour video detailing the entire playthrough of Satisfactory. And get to look at that in this game as well. Of course, here, it's a little bit... only a little bit more evil than it was in Satisfactory, really. This is definitely the set of upgrades where things clearly... Where it becomes very clear that you are not... perhaps a bit unscrupulous when it comes to doing this whole cookie thing. Although recombobulators, I mean, a major part of cookie recombobulation, that just makes sense. Deep bake process, patented process, increasing cookie yield twofold for the same amount of ingredients. Yep, just shove a Summers loop in there and make sure your electrical grid can handle it. Make sure to wear your protective suit because everything is irradiated. In my factory, certainly. This is all Satisfactory references getting. Cyborg workforce, 78-hour days. Machine learning, teaching people how to actually use your machines. Sometimes it's the little things. And brownie point system. 58 brownie points gets you a little picture of brownie. 178 pictures gets you an actual brownie. Oodles of fun. Volunteer interns, behavioral reframing. It's the little lies. The Infinity Engine. In this house, I guess we don't care much for the laws of thermodynamics. Good old-fashioned Simpsons quotes. Well, Simpsons references at the very least. N-dimensional assembly lines. Lines are depressingly one-dimensional. Yeah, but I mean, you can have assembly lines go up and down, stuff like that. They're three-dimensional. Posit the existence of higher-order assembly entities, such as squares, assembly cubes, or even assembly tesseracts. And deeper than that, you'll be able to write manuals your workers can read. I mean, I suppose being able to fold across a higher dimensional space would save quite a bit in the transportation of materials. I guess. I don't really know if you would make them into cubes. And then universal automation, which, let's be honest, that's just what this game is. Simple common sense, the more automation, the less work you have to do. I mean, considering my work is limited to mostly clicking on a cookie, I think that's... Yeah. There's not that much to it. Maybe one day you'll even automate yourself out of your own job. Exciting. Then, of course, going with this being April 1st and, Money Day, whatever it's called. Business Day? It's called Business Day, right? Yeah, it's like we got good old-fashioned bank upgrades. Dollar tellers, able to process a higher amount of transactions because they are literally higher. Is that how that works? Careful, though, as taller tellers tell tall tales. Got it. Nailed it. Nailed that tongue twister. Scissor-resistant credit cards. Good gag. Acid-proof vaults. Chocolate coins. Taste much better for a change. Indeed. Exponential interest rates? Can't argue with mathematics. You absolutely can, but I mean, probably not when I control this much stuff. Financial zen, ultimate grail of economic thought, the feng shui of big money, the stock market yoga, the Heimlich maneuver of dimes and nickels, just vomit coins all over the place, which are chocolate, as we've seen. So that actually makes sense that you would be vomiting them up. Well, if you're eating too many of them in the first place. Way of the wallet. You can see it very clearly goes from simple improvements to the bank to just nonsensical financial stuff. Follow the precepts and you may just profit from it. Stuff rationale feels like a reference that I do not get. Edible money, really quite simple. You make all currency Hey, wait a second, you already did this one. Did you already forget about chocolate coins? I guess this is everything else, but still. Solving world hunger and inflation in one fell swoop. Grand super cycles, what the public think are complicated financial terms, when it's really just rewarding bankers with snazzy bicycles for a job well done. All natural after you built those fancy gold swimming pools for them, where they can take a dip and catch... I don't know. I'm not quite sure what that is. I'm guessing a finance term. Rules of acquisition, which is definitely a reference that I feel like I should get, but I do not remember. Cookie baked is a cookie kept. Altruistic loop. You control so many branches of the global economy and legislative bodies that through a particularly creative loophole, donating money to yourself grants you even more cash and tax deductions than you started with. Not that it even really matters too much. At this point, especially in business day, I've got corporate countries, privatized planets, and then for some reason the Senate seats comes after that? Sure. Diminishing tax returns. Wow, they're tiny. Cookie points, which again, very similar to brownie points. I'm starting to see a little bit of lack of creativity in some of these upgrades. And then the big shortcake. Must have been quite the cake for folks to lose their homes over it. And then into temples, golden idols, lure even greedier adventurers to retrieve your cookies. Now it's a real idol game. Which then immediately goes into, hey, wait a second, why don't we just actually do the whole religion thing? Getting the delicious blessing. Doing sacrifices, getting delicious blessing. And lo, the baker's almighty spoon came out and distributed holy gifts unto the believers. Shimmering sugar, chocolate dark as night, and all manner of wheats. It just keeps going like that. Where it's like, okay, now we're just actively participating in religion. And then, we're going to start creating our own gods. Enlarged pantheon. Great baker in the sky. The ultimate deity has cast a sublimely divine eye upon your operation. Whether this is a good thing or play it off quite possibly the end of days is something you should find out very soon. Well, I mean, look a couple rows down where you get stuff like deity-sized portals or, where is it? His Advent. Get to that soon enough, of course. Creation myth. Theocracy. Don't let it go to your head. Sick rap prayers. Yep, basic instructions before leaving Earth. Psalm reading. War of the Gods, which is just a War Games reference. An interesting game. The only winning move is not to pray. Oh, you think you're so clever, don't you? A novel idea. It's like, it took us this long to get to a Scientology reference. Well, here it is. Want to get rich, you write science fiction. You don't get rich starting a religion. If you want to get rich, you write science fiction. Apparitions. Boosted. Ascended deity, angel, ascended prophet, other holy figures should boost interest in the cookie religion among youths as long as you can secure a decent time slot. And then negative theism. Polytheism, belief in multiple deities. Atheism, belief in no deities. And through logistical succession follows that you can go into the negatives. Unprecedented theological properties. I'm pretty sure this is what happened at the end of the second Elder Scrolls game, Daggerfall. And then right back to Temple Traps for the Glimmering upgrade. Yeah, we just start out with like Indiana Jones. We end with Indiana Jones. As you do. Perhaps you lost yourself in the analogy. Trying to ensure that the most pious and poison dart resistant people return. For the wizards, increased thalmic Anyway, point to your hats. Gotta get those. I mean, as we all know, looking like you're Scrooge and about to go to bed is an important part of being a wizard. Beardly are beards. Haven't you heard? The beard is the word. It's like a trashman. And also mispronouncing beard as bird. Ancient grimoires. Turn water to drool, grow eyebrows on furniture, and summon politician. Well, considering what we just saw in the bank stuff, I feel like that third one may not be unreasonable. Kitchen curses. Exotic magic involved with all things pastry related. Excellent. School of sorcery, of course. Of course. Dark formulas. I mean, it's like, hey, if we're going to be... Hey, we're already making reference to Scientology. Of course we're going to be making reference to Harry Potter. Dark formulas. Eldritch forces are at work behind these spells, but you get the feeling you really shouldn't be messing with these. You get the feeling you shouldn't really be messing with these, but I mean, free cookies, right? Isn't that just the entire game? You could add that last part to half of these upgrades, if not most of them. Cookie-mancy. There it is, the perfected school of baking magic. From summoning chips to hexing nuts. Not a single part of the cookie-making process that has not been improved tenfold by magic tricks. And rabbit tricks, speaking of which. Found a way to simultaneously curb rabbit population and produce heaps of extra cookies for basically free. They may or may not be fit for vegans. Deluxe tailored wands. In this age of science, skillful wand makers are now gone, but thankfully, not all those wonders are lost. Oh, you say in the age of science, but I believe that science should be able to create a much better wand in the first place. I think that's just an important part that people really should be thinking about when they're doing any sort of fantastical sort of stuff. I mean, electricity, I think, is a good example of that. Ancient magics and forbidden hexes around this arcane knowledge, unfathomable powerful, can mysteriously turn darkness into light and shock an elephant to death. Yeah. We should be taking the same sort of ideas that science presents, testing and trying to understand the world around us, and be able to apply that trivially to the way the magic works. In this age of science, I tell you. Spelling bees producing delicious purple fizzy honey. Wizard basements. Oh, yes, basements underneath each wizard tower. It's true. It's, the evil wizard basement as well as the wizard tower. As we all know, wizards live in towers, but you also keep a lot of good stuff underground, too. Provides a handy storage space for precious reagents, fizzled out soul gems, and weird old magazines. Yeah. Magical realism, more of a social than a thaumaturgical process. Thaumaturgical. Magical realism refers to the normalization of modern technology among magic users. See, this is what I'm talking about. No stigma and wait in line for coffee, take a phone call, send an email, whatever. And polymorphism, which I really enjoy the description for this one. Astonishing new field of spellcasting can change any creature into another. Its most widespread application being a wizard, turning themselves into a different, smarter, stronger, and more attractive wizard. I mean, yeah, right? Look. We can, you can change things around a lot when it comes to like polymorphing stuff. But a different, smarter, stronger, and more attractive wizard. It's like, that's what you do, right? Then into good old-fashioned shipments and going through the space. The space. Vanilla Nebula, wormholes, frequent flyer, come back soon. Warp drive, giving you that. I mean, finally a Star Trek reference. This nerdy game has not been nerdy enough so far. Where's my Lord of the Rings? I'm pretty sure that's already appeared. Chocolate monoliths. My God, it's full of chocolate bars. It's a good bit. Generation ship. Surely deliver your cookies to the deep ends of space one day. The idea that a colonization ship is going to just be carrying a bunch of cookies to the edge of the universe is funny. Dyson Sphere. Found a way to apply your knowledge of cosmic technology to a slightly more local endeavors. This giant sphere of metamaterials wrapping the solar system. Isn't it just usually wrapping a star, a Dyson Sphere? Sure to kick your baking abilities up a notch. I mean, yes, I tend to think that in the mine upgrades, you're just digging down to the center of the earth. Final frontier. It's all worth it, though. The sites are lovely, and the oil prices are slightly more reasonable. Long road getting from there to here. That was the theme song for one of the Star Treks. I can't even remember. Was it just Enterprise? It doesn't matter. Autopilot. Fitted with robot crews. How much money you save when you don't have to compensate for the families of those lost in space. Okay. Restaurants at the end of the universe. Oh, speaking of nerdy references, finally getting a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy in here. Since the universe is spatially infinite and can therefore be construed to have infinite ends, you open an infinite chain of restaurants where your space truckers can rest and partake in some home brand cookie-based meals. Home brand cookie. I don't know how you want to say that. Universal alphabet. Managed to chart a language that can be understood by any sentient species in any galaxy. Its exciting vocabulary includes over 656 trillion words and sound like sparkly burps forming intricate sentences that usually translate to something like, give us your cookies or else. Sure. Yeah, good luck trying to create a universal alphabet. Around here, we're a linguistics channel. Just go look at the lingo episodes that I've been putting out as of late, or the terrible, terrible Persona 5 series. I have more than enough experience knowing about how languages work. You can't just create a universal language. Anytime somebody tries to create a universal language, it's like everybody's like, oh yeah, no, this is going to be great. And then they don't use it. That's just how it is. Cosmic foreground radiation. This is a problem. Wait, how does that give me double the amount of efficiency on this then? That doesn't make any sense at all. And finally, at your doorstep in 30 minutes or your money back. Refund policies help rope in a ton of new clients. Yeah, sure. The sort of utter nonsense that we were talking about previously. The creating a truly universal language and then also, hey, refund policies. You're never late. Couldn't be late if you tried. Absolute mastery over time and space. Well, not time yet. Soon enough, though. All right, into good old-fashioned alchemy. Antimony, worth a lot of money. Sometimes you just get like really goofy, references. Sometimes you get like hugely thought out sort of sci-fi premises, and sometimes you just get wordplay. Essence of dough. 5 ancient steps of alchemical baking. True chocolate, the purest form of chocolate. Highly poisonous, I would guess. Ambrosia, and make them even more addictive. Dangerously so. Legality doesn't really matter, not in this world. Careful. Aqua crustule. I assume that's how you say it. It's aqua. I know the reference they're making there, but I cannot remember exactly what the name is. Careful of the dosing. One drop too much and get muffins. Nobody likes muffins. I just had a blueberry muffin. Factually untrue. Origin crucible, built from the rarest of earths and located at the very deepest of the largest mountain. The legendary crucible is said to retain properties from the Big Bang itself. Theory of atomic fluidity, pushing alchemy to its most extreme limits, you find that everything is transmutable into everything else. Lead to gold, mercury to water, and most importantly, you realize that anything can and should be converted to cookies. Yeah. Don't we have a gray goo upgrade coming up somewhere? It's literally the next one. I thought I remembered that. Well, now you've done it. Good job. Very nice. That's 3 galaxies you converted into cookies. Good thing you can hop from universe to universe. All right, fine. I guess I should just trust the game on this one. They know what they're doing. Sort of. Yeah. Oh, yes. And here's where it gets really dumb. The advent of chemistry. You know what? That whole alchemy nonsense was a load of baseless rubbish. Dear God, what were you thinking? Followed by, on second thought, disregard that last upgrade. Alchemy is where it's at. Your egg has just found a way to transmute children's nightmares into rare metals. Public betterment. Why do we keep changing useless matter into cookies or cookies into even better cookies? Clearly the way of the future is to change people who eat the cookies into people with a greater understanding, appreciation, and respect for the cookies they're eating. Into the vat you go! Now that's the sort of extremely evil type of thought process that I expect out of this game. Hermetic reconciliation. It's time for modern science and the mystical domains of the occult to work together at last. What do gravitrons transmute into? What if alkahest is pH neutral? Should a homunculus have the right to vote? Other exciting questions coming to you soon, whether you like it or not. Indeed. Then into chromatic cycling. All states of matter exist in a continuous loop. Having learned how to cycle through them, all you have to do is freeze matter on the right state you need. Cookie state of matter is 163.719 degrees, right between lamellar gas and metaplasma. Huh, interesting that I got in between those. I guess it's not organized in any way that makes sense. Arcanized glassware. Do you think your lab equipment enjoys taking parts in these experiments, violating all sort of modern scientific precepts? Of course not. Thankfully, you finally designed on specialized beakers and flasks recycled from the same glass used by the ancients to perform primeval alchemy, and therefore much less picky about the nature of the physical world. I'm pretty sure that's not how that works. But I mean, hey, I did just come from the magic upgrade, so... And then finally, the dose makes the poison. Iterative recipe refinement is a noble pursuit, but maybe your cookies have come to contain too much cookie per cookie. Tweaking it down by a couple percentages has helped reduce the amount of complaints to your toxicity call centers to almost nil. Finally, just ending up with reducing the amount of cookies inside of a cookie. These cookies, I mean, I was making better cookies out of cookies prior to this, right? These are fun ones. The portals. Ancient tablets. Oatling workers. Soul bond. Sanity dance, which is just a men without hats reference. Brain transplant. Merging higher dimensional universes or brains with our own in order to facilitate transit. And harvesting precious cookie doughs. Oh, I'm sure you only know too much about how brains work and everything if you watch the Void Stranger series that I did. Deity-sized portals. Some kind of elder god could fit through this thing. Maybe. End of times backup plan. I swear there's like a dozen different upgrades that can be summed up as this. Maddening Chance, which is a reference to that old Moonbase Alpha video. Why not? The real world, our universe is actually the twisted dimension of another saner plane of reality. Hop on over there and loot the place. Good luck! It ain't this reality! Not yet, at least. So far, we have yet, despite the amount of times that I've seen fictional stories try to posit the idea of their fictional characters coming into the real world, we have yet to have an incursion by any sort of fictional entities into... at least into the part of space that we all inhabit. I'm sure, judging by the amount of stories that try to do it, though, it's going to happen one day, right? Right? His advent. He comes at last, just like the prophecies foretold. As he steps out the portal, your engineers between slicing him into convenient chunks before transporting his writhing cosmic flesh to your factories, he'll be processed and converted into a new and exciting cookie flavor available in stores tomorrow. And that's what happened to the great baker in Sky. Domestic rifts. Portals that are convenient enough and legally safe enough that you can stick them against walls to connect rooms together in unusual configurations. It means your employees get to have much shorter bathroom breaks. I mean, why do I even need the rockets at this point, right? Portal guns. At long last, the only weapon capable of killing a portal. And then finally, a way home. Throughout this whole cookie venture, on the simple kitchen counters of your own home, industrial and research facilities have long since outgrown the confines of the little home. But you always knew it was still there, buried somewhere. With a targeted portal, you could, conceivably, pay a little visit for old time's sake. And that's the final upgrade for that one. Then into time travel, flux capacitors baked to the future, paradox resolvers. A paradox revolver would be the only thing able to kill paradoxes, in the same way that you got the portal guns, of course. Quantum conundrum, universal the only one constant, universal uncertainty, or is it? I always thought that the upgrades for every one of the time machines always looked like they had like a little smile at the bottom because of how it's reflected. Causality enforcer. What happened? Happened. Yestermorrow comparators. Fortnights into millennia is a reference that I don't understand. For our future enactment, authorizes you to delve deep into the future, where civilization has fallen, risen again, and cookies are plentiful. Great loop hypothesis. What if our universe is just one instance of an infinite cycle? What if before and after it stretch infinite amounts of the same universe, containing the same infinite amount of cookies? It just gets very abstract at a certain point. I do like how we just go from, like, I don't know, automated tractors to what if our universe was one instance of an infinite cycle? You know, that's a you can tell just listening to me here that it's like I like the weirder and like dumber sci-fi upgrades that you get a lot more than just like the very milquetoast, like, oh, here's one for your factory. Cookie-topian moments of maybe. Again, that's gotta be a reference to something. Second to seconds. That's twice as many seconds in the same amount of time. What a deal. Also, what in God's name? Hey, we're already doing 78-hour days. Now it's not just, you know, hey, we turned 24 hours into 78. We can literally make it 78 hours in the same amount of time. Try to even imagine how that would work. What in God's name, indeed. Additional clock hands. Seems silly at first, but these have the strange ability to twist time in interesting new ways. Okay, that is actually a thing with like time travel stuff entirely. Like, y'all, the clock does not literally control how time works. I mean, yes, it is the universal sort of representation of time. When we think about time, and of course, time travel and stuff like that, I think a clock as a representation makes sense, but you can't just literally be like, and now what if I start to spin the needle around a lot? It's like, it doesn't make time. It measures stuff. I always find that very silly in fiction where it's like, yeah, like timepieces are given an extreme amount of respect, despite the fact that all they do is despite the fact that we all know that all they do is measure time, and that's it. Rectifying a mistake, the final upgrade. This whole time-traveling business has been a terrible mess, and frankly, far more trouble than it was worth. It's decided you'll hop back in one of your time machines one last time, turn back the clock, knock on the door of your younger self, and make a stern but convincing case against starting this entire nonsense in the first place. Oh hey, is someone at the door? It's a good gag. Then right into the old antimatter condensers. Sweet, firm bosons. Yeah. String theory, true meaning of baking cookies, and as a bonus, the structure of the universe. Large macaron collider, and we're back to wordplay. The Big Bang Bake. That's how it all began. Reverse cyclotrons. You know, I said earlier that it's like, yeah, the types of quarks that exist. It's top, bottom, up, down, charm, and strange. There you go. I know this. Spin is an aspect of quarks. It is not a type of quark. There. Anybody that said that in the comments, they better go back and re-edit that to talk about how right I was now. Right? Somehow stacks in the nested universe theory because physics. Nanocosmics. There's several different upgrades that can be described as like infinite recursion of the universe or time or stuff like that. I mean, I feel like the developer maybe had about as much as a fascination with recursion, of course, looking at the recursive engines as I do. Recursion is cool, guys. Let me tell you. I love it. Anyway, it is, though. Hey, I will argue that some other super tiny fundamental particle, probably, when even the universe is running out of ideas, that's when you know you're nearing the end. And it's like, this is like halfway through. Well, I think it's probably, yeah, even in the antimatter condensers, it's like halfway through. It's just, this somehow means more cookies for the pulse. Timeless rhythm along which every material and anti-material thing beats in unison. Quantum comb to solve quantum entanglement. Sure. Baking Nobel Prize. All right. What's a better way to sponsor scientific growth than to motivate those smarmy nerds with a meaningless award? What's more, each prize comes with a fine print, lifelong exclusive contract to come work for you, or else, as you do. The definite molecule. Why did I spending? I've been spending too long recording this today. Scientists have found a way to pack a cookie into one single continuous molecule, opening up exciting new prospects in both storage and flavor, despite the fact these take up to a whole year to digest. See, this is what leads to us having to use the alchemy to make less cookie inside of cookies when you're making cookies out of cookie molecules. Flavor itself, deep under the earth in the most sterile laboratory, in the most vast and expensive particle accelerator ever devised, your scientists have synthesized, for a fraction of a second, the physical manifestation of pure flavor, highly unstable, and gone to puff of radioactive energy, and nonetheless left your team shivering with awe and hunger. So dumb. In addition to the delicious pull, 4 fundamental forces of the universe: gravity, electromagnetism, weak and strong interactions. Your scientists have at long last confirmed the existence of a 5th one. Mediated by sugar bosons, it dictates that any 2 masses of ingredient-like matter will, given enough time, eventually meet with each other to produce a 3rd, even tastier substance. Your team enthusiastically... You're just pulling this from, like, Wikipedia articles or, well... science fiction stuff at this point in time. Which I enjoy. I don't know how anybody listening to this, I assume that this is like the sort of thing that if you're on a long road trip, you throw this on in the background because you don't need to look at the screen. I mean, yeah, you're going to miss some stuff when I start ranting about like realism and magic, but it's not that much. Employee minification. Talk about downsizing. Oh, wait. They didn't actually make that joke in here. I'm surprised. And then Candied Adams. You know what? Just eat the suckers. Yeah. That makes no sense at all. There's absolutely, that doesn't make any sense at all. All right. On to prisms and gem polish. Get rid of the grime. Let more light in. Gem and the holograms reference. 9th color. I discovered 10 extra colors getting every, pumping that thing full of sugar stuff. Speaking of which, hey, the sugar lump is ripe right now. Taking too long on my breaks here, I suppose. Chocolate light. Bask in its cocoalescence. May cause various interesting, albeit deadly, skin conditions. Good. Grainbow. Different grains using the handy Roy G. Biv mnemonic. R is for rice, O is for oats, B is for barley. Is G just for grain? No, I don't, and I can't even think of a Y grain, to be honest. Also, Roy G. Biv is always, I just found that kind of dumb. I never liked that as a mnemonic. Pure cosmic light. Your prisms now receive pristine, unadulterated photons from the other end of the universe. Brought here, thankfully, by my ships. Except not actually, because that would be considered more of a combo thing. And those are later upgrades. Glow in the dark. Your prisms now glow in the dark, effectively doubling their output. Not how that works. Lux Sanctorum. Your prism attendants have become increasingly mesmerized with something within the light. Or maybe something beyond it. Beyond us all, perhaps. I would say this is threatening, but the sort of stuff that I have been working with for this entire game just is like, Is it gonna be any worse than the grandmas? Reverse shadows. Oh man, this is really messing with your eyes. Sure. What is that? What would that even mean? It's like, Crystal mirrors, designed to filter more light back into your prisms, reaching levels of brightness that reality itself never had planned for. I am fairly certain that photons do have, like, a limit to the amount that you can shove into a single place. It's a lot, but... Reverse theory of light. A whole new world of physics opens up when you decide that anti-photons are real and posit that light is merely a void in the shadow. Yeah, they're talking about messing with your eyes. I mean, I guess I can see it, but that requires a lot more, like, thought than should ever be attributed to Cookie Clicker. Light capture measures. As the universe gets ever so slightly dimmer due to you converting more and more light into cookies, equals MC squared, right? You're taking to finding new and unexplored sources of light for your prisms. For example, the warm glow emitted by a pregnant woman, or the twinkle or the twinkle in the eye of a hopeful child. Ah, yes, metaphorical light. I mean, I'm surprised. Is there something that you could consider to be like metaphor machines? Because I feel like that could have been a building upgrade eventually. It's just based entirely on wordplay. Well, considering the sort of metatextual things, it's just like, I guess I should just wait until I get to the JavaScript, right? Light speed limit. Slow down! Harvesting light is well and good, but it'd be much easier if it weren't so dang fast. They should thankfully take care of that. Occam's laser. William of Occam, invented by William of Occam in 1327, and possibly clever use of light theory, with a billion possible applications, some of which are frighteningly destructive. Confined to a single goat skin parchment for hundreds of years until the patent expired and hit public domain. Just now. That's not, like, what do you mean the patent expires? It's expired. The patents don't last the 700 years. Whatever. Hyper black paint. As technology behind your prisms evolve, their storage becomes more and more problematic. Within seconds, a single prism's reflectivity can set a whole underground hangar ablaze as it catches the slightest glint of light. However, once coated with this new shade of paint, its damage may reduce to only giving third-degree burns to employees that stand too close. And finally, lab goggles, but like cool shades. Mandatory equipment in your prismatic labs and dashingly stylish at that. A smidge safer than just squinting at the twinkly things. As you do. Chance makers. Very first cookie you ever baked, hold a sentimental value, and after all this time, an interesting smell. I mean, at this point in time, it has been nearly 600 days, so... yeah. All bets are off. A coin that always lands on its side when flipped. Not heads, not tails, not the edge. The other side. Yeah, it's because the edge is just like, I remember a very famous episode of Twilight Zone being about that. Guy got psychic powers by having that happen. And, winning lottery ticket. What lottery? The lottery. That's what lottery. The only lottery that matters. Go play Fallout New Vegas. I should go play Fallout New Vegas. I stopped my playthrough of Fallout right at Fallout 3. I should really get back to that. Those videos take so long to make, you gotta understand. They're big games. 4-leaf Cloverfield, no giant monsters. Wow, a reference to Cloverfield, Anno Domini 2026. A lot of lucky grass. Recipe book about books. Tip the scales in your favor with 28 creative ways to cook the books. That's not really related to luck now, is it? That would actually fit a little bit more in the bank one. Finance related thing. Foul tasting tea. Can you make tea out of clovers? I don't know. Improbability Drive. Hey, another Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy reference. Strange ending turns statistics on their head are recommended by the Grandmother's Guide to the Bakery. Okay, we're just making that very explicit at this point. Anti-superstistrionics. Stistronics? Yeah. Citing a field of research which makes unlucky things lucky. No mirror unbroken, no ladder unwalked under. Okay. I guess that makes sense. Bunny feeds. We've taken breeding rabbits with hundreds of paws, which makes them intrinsically very lucky and very handy, if very disturbing, pat. Revised probabilistics. Either something happens or it doesn't. It's a 50% chance. Thanks, Pascal. This is something that makes a lot of unlikely things very possible. Okay. I don't know. I like it. I like these. Look, this is the sort of gag that gets me, okay? Like, this is this. If you want to make me laugh as I'm playing a game, do stuff like this. Zero-sided dice. Advent of the zero-sided dice has unexpected and tumultuous effects on the gambling community, and some experts around the world calling you both a genius and an imbecile. I feel like for a lot of this stuff, that makes a lot of sense. A touch of determinism by knowing the exact position and okay, we're just describing what is it? Maxwell's demon? No, that's not right. That's the one for electricity. I can look this up real quick. Yeah, that's Laplace's demon. I think I say it Laplace. Yes, by knowing the exact position and movement of every particle in the universe, you're able to predict everything that that can ever happen, leaving nothing to chance. A deuce to pull off, mind you, but it help you win $50 at the horse races, so you can already say it's paying off. Ooh. All right, on a streak. Take a moment to appreciate how far you've become, how lucky you've been. It doesn't take a genius statistician to extrapolate a trend from this. Yeah, no way anything bad could happen to you now, right? Yeah. Well, I mean, okay, at this point in time, we finished. There's no, like, thing that will happen to me. I'm already done. Like, as soon as I close this game, I'm putting it in my complete folder until I come back to it. So thankfully, I've dodged around probability thanks to that in particular. Silver lining maximization. Sometimes luck is a matter of perspective. Broke your ankle? What do you know? That cute nurse fixing you up might be your next future spouse. Lost your job? You're meant for greater things anyway. Well, okay, that's hitting a little bit too close to home considering that I am recording this as I am still unemployed. Developed a cookie allergy? Then there's no upshot to that, you sick monster. Maybe I could just end up thinking about it like that. My greater things are recording cookie clicker videos for the internet. I guess. Gambler's fallacy. Yes, just because you've been on a losing streak doesn't mean the next one is bound to be the win that you've been hoping for. But then again, it doesn't statistically have less of a chance either, does it now? Very true. Why don't we all just think about that? On to the old recursion machines, recursion engines, which I can never find here because they're now Senate seats. That doesn't even make any sense. Fractal engine. Oh, boy. Meta bakeries practically bake themselves. I like how you can see how clearly, like, simple the first descriptions are, and then as you get farther, it just becomes more and more ridiculous. Mandel Brown Sugar Babe. Substance that displays useful properties such as fractal sweetness and instant contact lethality, which I'm pretty sure almost any one of these would probably have that sort of thing. Fractoids. Here's a fun fact. All in all, these were a terrible idea. Well, made it twice as efficient, so were they that terrible of an idea? Nested universe theory. And we're back to recursion again, a favorite topic of this game. Asserts that each subatomic particle hosts a whole new universe. This is literally the same. Yes, this is stacks with the theory of nanocosmics. Wait a second, no, that is exactly what they say, right? Nanocosmics right there. Stacks with the nested universe theory, stacks with it. I didn't even realize that those were self-referential sort of things. Okay. Goes to show you how closely I've looked at some of these upgrades, eh? Menger Sponge Cake. Frighteningly absorbent thanks to its virtually infinite surface area. Keep it isolated in dry chamber, never handle it with an open wound, and do not ever let it touch a body of water. You will be looking at an Ice 9 scenario. If Ice 9 was actually just a sponge. One particularly good-humored cow. This is an extraordinarily specific reference to a marketing mascot. This unassuming bovine was excruciatingly expensive, and it may seem like you were ripped off. On closer inspection, though, you notice that it's wearing earrings, are actually fully functional copies of itself, which also appear to be wearing their own cow earrings, and so on infinitely. It appears as though your dairy concerns will be taken care of for a while, although you'll have to put up with the cow's annoying snickering. This is a reference to the mascot for the Laughing Cow cheese brand. Chocolate Ouroboros, forever eating its own tail and digesting itself in a metabolically dubious tale of delicious tragedy. Nested, clever, self-referential, or shameful cross-promotion. This upgrade apparently has the gall to advertise. I am not in a tooltip. You can't. No, I'm not advertising. That is a surprising amount of gall. Space filling fibers. This special ingredient has the incredible ability to fill local space effectively eradicating hunger in those who consume it. Knowing that no hunger means no need for cookies, your marketers urge you to repurpose this product into next level packing peanuts. Indeed. Endless book of prose, which appears to be just like a generated amount, a generated just string of text. Hey, we haven't even gotten into the programming jokes just yet. The set of all sets. Ah, yes, the superset. And of course is a definite maybe. This upgrade. This upgrade's flavor text likes to refer to itself, as well as the fact that it likes to refer to itself. You should really buy this upgrade before it starts to do anything more obnoxious. A box, which I looked at that one earlier. Multi-scale profiling. You know that eating a cookie means the intestinal flora inside of you is eating it too. Trillions of tiny bacterial mouths to feed, each with their own preferences. Surely there's room for flavor optimization. And then, of course, there's also the much bigger things that, in turn, eat you. And then, the more they stay the same. Exhausted by your fractals department and its obsession with self-similarity, decide to take a break and seek things in life disconnected from any other. Alas, you'd find this task impossible, for all the things in this world relate to each other, in each cookie, the structure of the universe, in each person, their own fellow man. Core blime, you can't even look at broccoli in peace. Which I think is a reference to, there is a specific type of broccoli that grows in a fractal pattern. I can't remember exactly what kind it is, but if you've never seen it before, it looks really cool. I mean, from what I understand, it just tastes like broccoli, but it is pretty neat. Then we got JavaScript. JavaScript console for dummies. Just get started. First line reads, to open the JavaScript console, press, and the rest of the book is soaked in chocolate milk. Only there was a way to look up this sort of information, which I'm sure is probably a reference to the fact that you could just open up the JavaScript console at any point in time for this game, because that's what it's written in. I actually don't know what it is. Frankly, I can just go dive into the code itself if I want to. It's just, after all, saved in a single file on my own computer. 64-bit arrays. Long-form variable type to pack your cookies much more efficiently, as you do. Stack Overflow. This is really bad. You probably forgot to... Okay, this is just a reference to the Stack Overflow programming website where people just crowdsource answers to questions related to programming. I think anybody that's ever looked up anything related to programming or even like tech issues in general has seen it. Enterprise compiler. JavaScript compiler took a team years of development and billions in research, but it should let you execute certain functions up to 2% faster in optimal circumstances. Syntactic sugar. Tastier code for tastier cookies. A nice cup of coffee, because of course Java. As you do. Just-in-time baking. New method of preparing cookies to bake themselves right in front of customers before eating, leaving your kitchens mess-free. Cookies++. Very own cookie-themed programming language, elegantly named after the most interesting ability, increasing the cookies variable by 1. Software updates. Grand news! Someone finally found out the Wi-Fi password, and your newfound internet connection seems to have triggered a whole lot of software updates. Your browsers, drivers, plugins all receive a fresh coat of paint, and your JavaScript version has been updated to the latest ECMAS script. I don't know. I don't use JavaScript. I don't know. Is it ECMAS? ECMAScript specification. It's really too bad thousands had to die because of some deprecated function in your neurotoxin ventilation code. But I guess that's progress for you. Game.loop. What does it mean? What does it do? Who would leave something like that just lying around? Try asking again in 1/30th of a second. Oh, actually, I am recording this at 30 frames a second now that I'm thinking about it because thanks to other games that run terribly if I try to run them at 60. Previous episodes, though, were recorded at 60 frames a second, which, now that I realize that this game is running at 30 frames a second, is perhaps maybe a bit excessive. Eval! A simple function holds the key to the universe, and whoever masters that can shape reality to their will. Good thing you have no idea how it works. Not that I would use that myself. Of course, the most I'm doing is just a little bit of light save scumming, right? Your biggest fans, let's face it, baking cookies is the most optimized thing out there. So you purchase your biggest fans yet and stuck them next to your computer to keep things chill and in working order. Cool. Hacker shades, I'm in. Put those with the lab goggles, but like cool shades. PHP containment vats. In essence, these are large server chambers meant to trap rogue PHP code, allowing it to execute far, far away from your JavaScript where it can do minimal harm. And finally, simulation failsafes. Oh, for Pete's sake, you bit into a cookie and it gave you a runtime error. And trapped in the old Matrix gambit again. Time to shut everything down and prepare for extraction into what is hopefully the real layer of reality where learning Kung Fu takes time and biscuits don't throw memory overflow exceptions. Finally tying in that last little bit of Matrix references that, of course, the JavaScript consoles are built on. Multiverses, after you have fractal engines, after you have JavaScript consoles, we just keep getting more and more meta. And the second one, the multiverse in a nutshell, I think is an especially interesting upgrade to get. Doesn't really make any sense as to why it's more efficient, but does give you a pretty good idea of, more lore about the setting. The structure of the metacosmos may seem confusing and at times even contradictory. But here's what you've gathered so far. Each reality, or idleverse, exists in a parallel to all others. Most realities seem to converge towards the production of a sole type of item. Cookies. Each reality is riddled with chaotic tunnels to a number of subordinate dimensions, a so-called cookieverse, much like Swiss cheese, or seemingly contained within every individual molecule, or however the nested universe's stuff works. There's been, it did say at times contradictory. All realities bathe in an infinite liquid of peculiar properties, colloquially known as milk. Finally, each reality has its own interpretation of the concept of reality, for added fun. And does that mean that the milk that I have, that I've been getting with each one of my achievements, that has now been completely maxed out, although it's not as though I'm getting much of anything past hazelnut milk anyway. Yeah, hazelnut milk, right? Yep, that's the one. But still, guess that flows between universes. How about that? All conversion. Nice, you can rewire the logic of each universe to generate cookies instead. Parsecs of whatever they were just producing before. Baubles you've long made obsolete. Cash, money, gems. We eat all of that stuff now. Cheeseburgers, never seen a game like that. Puppies. Yeah, that is probably a game that exists. Never saw that. So I decided the universal converter, compatible with any substance and capable of turning those useless spoils of conquest into reassuring crumbly rustle of even more cookies. I mean, that's what comes with having mastery over the form of matter, thanks to my alchemy, right? Multiverse agents. Once the simulation process is started, to help pacify the local populations, having established trust through the use of wacky but seamless disguises. That is about right for everything that I've seen for multiversal agent type of concept in fiction. Escape plan. There's another one. Says an idleverse aside, terraformed to closely resemble this one in case something goes horribly wrong here. Also have their own escape idleverse to abscond to in the eventuality of your arrival, itself likely having its own contingency idleverse, and so on and so forth forever. Because look, this is Cookie Clicker. We love recursion around here. Recursion core gameplay. Game design. Each idleverse functions according to some form of transcendental programming. Literally programming in my case, considering that I have the JavaScript consoles. Covered by more subtle rules, logic of which, with harnessed, can give you unparalleled dominion over the multiverse. Rewrite the rules. A game designer is you. That's a dumb reference. I was about to say something about how I was not going to be rewriting the rules because I would consider that to be cheating, but then they made a dumb reference. Sandbox universes run out of extra universes anytime soon, so repurpose them as a consequence-free testing ground for all of your more existentially threatening market research. Consequence-free for you, anyway. I mean, like the beige goo. It's like, you know, this is the sort of point that we have. I mean, I guess it sort of ties into that upgrade as well. See, you were wondering. It's like, hey, are we actually going to get to the point where there's something of a concrete sort of lore to be found in this game? Yes. And I mean, it's simple, but it's there. It's like the other universes have wised up to your plundering. Thankfully, there's nothing your extra beefed up metacosmic military budget can't handle. Great. It's just like you're already cartoonishly evil before. Now we're going extra cartoonishly evil. Mobile ports. Accessing each outer universe is a bit of a hassle, requiring a once-in-a-blue-moon alignment of natural cosmic ports to transport from universe to universe through Swiss cheese. You finally perfect the method of constructing your own self-propelled ports, which can... which can travel near instantaneously alongside universal perimeters to permit headache-free multiversal connections. It took you long enough, and I know that one of the reasons why we haven't been getting big updates for the Steam version or like browser version of this game for a while is because of the mobile port development, which I'm fairly certain is supposed to be a nod to that. Encapsulated realities. Untold feats of science went into the reduction of infinite universes into these small, glimmering, easy-to-store little spheres. And that's, I guess, what the, like, multiverse representation is supposed to be here. Sort of. Kinda. I mean, the whole thing with, like, the antimatter condensers, I think, made it very clear that had that sort of capability for a while. Well, anyway, containing entire galaxies and sporting endless life, it's more precious than you could ever fathom. They've also proven to be quite a smash hit in your warehouse on bowling night. They do look like bowling balls. What can you say? Extrinsic clicking. If you poke an Idleverse, seems like it gets work done faster. Also fun hearing a trillion terrified voices screaming in unison. Yes, of course. Universal idling. Nature of Idleverse is found in waiting. The more you wait on an Idleverse, the exponentially more potent it becomes, which saves you a lot of hard work. In true active Zen, you take the bide in your time, collecting new universes, letting them ripen like a fine wine. Oh, another extremely sort of minor hair-splitting thing. Don't you remember back here that what is it? Looking for you. It was a little bit farther. Patience abolished. My Iridium upgrade for time machines. You wait for no one. Unless it's apparently idle universes. Break the fifth wall. Is that always there? Whatever it was is gone now, and whatever's behind it is yours for the taking. Good luck. You've tried to get into the real world several times now. You're not going to be able to do it. Don't even try. Opposite universes. Everything is reversed. Up is down, light is darkness, clowns are vegetarians, but worst of all, some lunatic there is manufacturing abominable amounts of anti-cookies. These come into contact with yours, everything would be lost. Thanks to this discovery, you've been able to place the offending universe in permanent quarantine and pray that there aren't more like it out there somewhere. I mean, I don't really think that it matters too much now, does it? It's like we have... I guess there could just be an entire anti-cookie sort of thing, but they would probably also have the same idea of quarantining off everything else as well. And then the other routes to Rome. They know that every Idleverse follows its own path of sequential buildings, sometimes quite dissimilar to our own. Grandpas, wind turbines, through the power of music, friendship, or legislation. There's folks out there who discovered ways to make cookies out of any random venue. Some of them don't even have Idleverses. Can you imagine? Indeed. It's a fun little thought to end the Idleverse stuff on, where it's just like, just imagine the sort of possibilities. I mean, it could just also be referring to things like mods, too, which I know very much do exist for this game. A lot of them to just make it easier, but, you know, I know there's also ones like you can get chance makers to have a casino minigame and stuff like that, which sounded like a lot of fun, and I hope that this game eventually gets that sort of thing one day. Next up is the Cortex Bakers, which being gigantic brains that can literally will matter into existence, is no surprise that a lot of these, especially going in line with my whole be extremely evil thing, just trying to make sure they don't kill me. Like, obey. Optimal mood stabilization is a nice side effect. Sprinkle of irrationality, front and back hemispheres. Oh, don't make no mistake, there's still plenty of just very silly stuff and wordplay, neural networking. Cosmic-sized nerds mumbling awkwardly about tech startup ideas to each other. Cosmic brainstorms, literal brainstorms. Ionic flares with every thought coursing through them. Pulse of pure intellectual energy are sent rippling through space, occasionally echoing back with even deeper philosophical complexity. I'm going to be honest, I don't really know exactly how brains work, or if that's even much of a thing. But, yeah, sure. Yes, well, your giant Cortex Bakers come equipped with ESP. They've only recently figured out how to manipulate the physical world with their thoughts. Though for safety reasons, your legal team had them promise to only use the powers to scratch the itches in their cortical folds. I don't like that sentence. I don't like thinking about brains scratching themselves. And then, yes, giving them spines. Prehensile... tentacular-like spine structures where they can use like prehensile tails to pour themselves enormous cups of coffee or propel themselves around like very large, very smart, very slow tadpoles. Good stuff. Yes, here's the neural forming thing that I was thinking of when I was looking back at the farming upgrades. By virtue of being planet-sized, your Cortex Bakers often boast their own atmospheres and seas of cerebrospinal fluid, and given enough time, their own ecosystems. Incredible new branch of life evolved entirely out of neural material can be put to use as homegrown accountants and low-ranking technicians. I mean, I was thinking more like growing stuff on there, but close enough, right? Redefining what is or isn't a cookie through the power of philosophical discourse. That's not even something that you necessarily need like matter creating brains for. This is more like trying to literally change the depth. I mean, I guess this is probably where we got the box of not cookies, right? It wouldn't surprise me at all. And then every possible idea. I just like we're at that point, right? We just eventually get to the point where it's like, congratulations, your Cortex Bakers have exerted enough intellectual computation to permute through every single idea that can or ever will be conceived of. I mean, we kind of already had that happening with the Laplace Demon Hadron Collider thing, but here it is again. Any thought beyond this point is merely rediscovering a notion that you've already archived, hardly cause for a celebration. Or for a cerebration. The land of dreams, letting the brain sleep. New means of creating biscuits. And then finally, intellectual property theft. You're maybe starting to run out of new baking ideas. I mean, even though somewhat contradictory. But if you were to pilfer your Cortex Bakers for ideas and disguise them as your own cookies, delightfully devilish, Seymour. Finally, we've got the clones, which I always like the first one for this, cloning vats. Finally, replicate yourself through modern medical science instead of manually like you've been doing. Whatever that could possibly mean. And we got energized nutrients, shoving fish flakes in there to give them a positively glowing skin, stunt doubles for tasks that prove harmful to you, visiting more hazardous facilities, which are all of them, during dinner with annoying business partners. Clone recycling plant. Really just a fanciful name for a reorientation center with jobless clones may be assigned new tasks based on temperament and abilities. Categorically not a place where expired or unfit clones are processed into a nutritious beige paste. Currently. I mean, I'll probably just go end up turning it into pesticides, as I've already apparently been doing. But then again, the amount of clones that I'm probably creating are far more than I really need to create that sort of stuff. It's kind of difficult to say exactly what sort of ethical violations I am creating and resolving with my own greater ethical violations at this point in time, right? It's like, don't worry about it being created out of humans. I've learned how to clone humans to be able to resolve that. Turns out your clones develop better focus, higher job performance, and juicier meat if you let them roam around a little outside of assigned duties. It gets the ethics committees off your back. Genetic tailoring, which is getting extra horrifying. No point in mindlessly replicating Mother Nature's mishaps when you got the full mastery of the human genome. And 10, as we've seen, optimized genes, too. Giving your clones the slightly more flattering physique, a slightly improved metabolism, or a slightly deadlier laser eyes is as easy as pushing some stem cells around. So don't build them too superior to your own self, lest they get any ideas. Power and diversity. Start to notice that some of your clones have diverged. Subtly, each clone's personality has branched off of yours. Their shifting minds pulling them into discrete clone-born cultures, microcosms of other paths you yourself could have taken had life treated you differently. This living tree of possibilities it's supposed to be a boon for your self-knowledge and decision-making skills, and you don't even have to pester your alternate selves in other realities for it. Just that sort of admitting that, well, you know, there are also alternate universes all over the place. And then there is also something that I pointed out in a previous episode there. The old shadow achievement, in her likeness. Shape your clones to resemble grandmas. Still goes with my theory of you potentially just being some sort of rogue grandmother who was able to perhaps break free of the hive mind, but then, still maintained that sort of mastery over baked goods that would allow you to actually control the universe. You know, the grandma, all the knowledge of the grandma apocalypse, but held in a single person, that sort of thing. Self-betterment. World domination starts with oneself, and quality clones cannot be reliably produced if you, the original stock, are not in proper shape. Specialists have designed a maintenance regime that could extend your lifespan tenfold and even get rid of your morning grumpiness. They have summarily fired every physician so far who suggests that you work on your diet and perhaps cut down on the cookies, but frankly, you're warming up to the idea. Funny enough, for a business day, the clones building does eventually just become your business is as great as it's going to get. The only way to improve it is to improve yourself and become the best CEO this world has ever seen. So it's like that sort of idea, I suppose, comes up a couple times in the game now, doesn't it? Oh yes, source control, about people copying your DNA. A few gigabytes of your DNA have been passed around through email attachments and USB keys 1,000 times over, and at this point your nucleosomes are practically common knowledge for anyone who works here. Thinking it may be getting a little bit too casual about it. You walk past an office where your bioengineers were feeding treats to his horrid little hairless animal that you could swear had your face. High time to start tracing which data gets in whose hands and crack down on the silliness. Yes, silliness. What good is hiring all of those random strangers when you've got all these perfectly loyal lab-grown copies of yourself lying around? Don't even take wages, and it's not like they'd ever revolt or try to overthrow you or anything. No. That's why I got like the Cortex Bakers, and their like whole mind control thing ready to go. Yeah. Of course. It's under control. It's fine. Oh boy. A universe-spanning cookie magnate. Yeah. Said clones developing what we considered, say, antisocial behavior. No worries, though. You bred a new generation of extra obedient copies, arm them to the teeth, and give them full authority to deal with disorderly layabouts. Well, I got all the achievements, so clearly it's fine. Right? Surely it's fine. I don't see what sort of issues could possibly result from this sort of just utterly ludicrous army of clones that I have been creating. I mean, hey, that's why you got one big family. It's like, why arm people when you can just kind of like see yourself as a big family? Proportion of the clones in your workforce having long eclipsed that of your other employees. Yep. You become legally approved to qualify your galaxy-spanning corporation as a family business, a fact that you don't hesitate to blast twice hourly on every intercom in the company. Happily, your duplicates don't seem to be bolstered by these reminders, having come to regard you as this half-divine, half-parental entity, hallowed ancestor of all clones and all cookies. Just hoping the folks at the labs can put the finishing touches on your immortality cure soon. You should have to think of the inheritance disputes to come. Man, and considering the sort of things that come about as far as immortality goes, like the personal biscuit, I'm not quite sure if that cure might be a good thing. No reason to limit your genetic spawn to the original configuration. The clones maintaining your tunnels and vents can do with a few less limbs, while those working in your labs don't mind the dexterity that comes with some extra. Units down in flavor testing have taken on similar adaptations to fit their duties, but haven't quite worked up the guts to pay them a visit just yet. And finally, reading your clones' bedtime stories. And that is it for at least the basic stuff. 4-leaf penny, 7 horseshoes, and then get lucky. Instead of just referencing like, hey, finding lucky things, we instead make a Daft Punk reference. Future almanacs lets you predict optimal planting times. It's crazy what time travel can do. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff that you would see here, aside from ones that are literally rewriting the code of the universe and stuff like that, really should be covered in time travel, shouldn't they? I don't know. That's how it feels to me. Surprise earthquakes are an old favorite of wizardly frat houses for seismic magic. How does that even help me get more cookies out of my mines? It doesn't make any sense at all. Asteroid mining, of course. Habited planetoids are no longer legally excavatable, but a space bribe goes a long way. And also 1974 United Cosmic Convention. Huh? Well, I don't really know exactly what that means as far as a timeline for stuff goes, but that's something at least. United Cosmic Convention. That might actually be a real thing for really all I know, right? Who knows? Temporal overclocking. Introduce more quickitude in your system for increased speedation of fastness. Again, every one of these could just be like buffed up by time machines in one way or another. Get infernal contracts. Printing presses. Fake bills so real. Don't even use bills. We've had this established several times that cookies are currency. Come on now. Come on now. The God particle. Temples, it's just, again, more wordplay. Arcane knowledge. Some things were never meant to be known, only mildly speculated. Magical botany, calling it wizard GMOs. Fossil fuels, which just plutonium for powering rockets. That doesn't make, it's, what a weird nonsensical thing. Extracted from the fuels of ancient fossilized civilizations. Shipyards. I don't even really, there are so many of these that I don't even know if I ever read before. I feel like this is the first time that I'm seeing them, because especially the tier 2 combination stuff, the synergy ones, I just got near instantaneously. Did I ever even see Gold Fund? If gold is the backbone of the economy, cookies are surely its hip joints. Infernal crops. Sprinkle regularly with fire. Get that sort of a Terraria style planting going. Relativistic parsec skipping. Not physically possible. Okay, Star Wars. Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars. But of course, when you have actual time machines, yeah. Extra physics funding, just banks and antimatter condensers. A strange combination, but I mean, time to put your money where your particle colliders are. Chemical proficiency, discover new elements such as flesh meltium, inert shampoo byproduct 17, and carbon++. Thankfully, this game has explained what cookies plus are thanks to the old JavaScript library. Good stuff. Light magic. Mystical energies. And then stuff like gemmed talismans, mines, and chance makers. Good luck charms covered in ancient and excruciatingly rare crystals. A must-have for job interviews. Yeah. I know, as somebody who just talked about being unemployed. It's funny that I started out the series still being employed and being like, well, I mean, you know, I'm glad that I need to have something else to, you know, buff out my income flow. And then by the time that this series is actually ending, well, and then by the time a new update comes out, I'll have another job again. Isn't that funny how that works? Mice clicking mice. Not only is it a very silly sort of synergy as it is, it's also quite powerful. You can get a lot of extra cookies out of that when you first get this third thing unlocked. It is that one and like the script grannies, our armies of energy drink-fueled grandmas ready to hack into cyberspace for Renegade E cookies, which are also still they're just called cookies. You get them on most websites. But anyway, those two tend to be the ones that will get you the most increase in cookies per second. Tombola computing, like quantum computing, but more fun. Now, your ticket reads 37, 77, 59, 62, entitling you to the etymology of the word tombola, Italian for a tumble. Yeah, like dice. Like the die that represents chance makers in the first place, right? Right? Perforated milfoot. It's the puff pastry dessert. I don't want to try and say it. Cosmos. Layers upon layers, worms chewing their way through it all, roughly but not quite approximates geometry of the most basal stratum of our natural world. You had already described it as Swiss cheese. I feel like that more or less covers it, right? Yes, thoughts and prayers. Cortex Baker's Gaining Religion. And fertile minds. No, I think this was the one that I was looking at. An acute intellect, artificial or not, requires plenty of vitamins. You fortuitously happen to be in charge of vast farming operations, only few trillion acres of which need to be repurposed to grow quantities of broccoli and kale to keep your planet-sized brains in tip-top shape. Open wide, here comes the airplane. Which I guess that's sort of combination of the brain ecosystem and like the idea of farms. Well, there you go. There's that mystery solved. Accelerated development. Clones may age a little bit faster than your vanilla human being, but it's still silly having to wait so many years for them to reach a usable age. Quick trip in time machine takes care of that. They don't actually age them faster. They're just sent to another point in time where they live out a formative youth. And then finally, peer review. JavaScript consoles and the clones. Code is only as good as the number of eyes on it, so imagine how flawlessly your systems could operate if you had the same person triple checking everything. Teach them proper indenting to etiquette. I mean, indenting or any sort of documentation is going to be important for any code, unless all of your programmers are literally you, I guess. I feel like that sort of system might have a few problems. Then we got the Bingo Center Research Facility. Oh, seen these ones plenty of times, where it goes from technology into glowing red ritualistic and underworld items. It's very silly, doesn't it? Finally, for the sacrificial rolling pins. Then we got all the fortunes. Saw all of these plenty of times already. Same thing with the kittens. It's like these ones I actually did get more than enough chance to take a look at previously, I think. I hope I included them in the video. I don't actually remember. I'm kind of second guessing it. Same thing with the eggs and all the Christmas stuff too. The cookie upgrades. While not as grand as something like explaining how the multiverse works, these do still give you an important cookie production multiplier, which when you add all these up is quite a bit. And I do think they're interesting because they teach you about stuff like historical cookies, pink biscuits, for example, or otherwise, at least for me, cookies that I was completely unaware of because they're more popular in other parts of the world, like Welsh cookies. So, first up, we got cookie crumbs. There used to be a cookie here, now there isn't. Good heavens, what did you do? Turned into mulch for my gardens? Trade it like money? Extract primordial elements from it? They use it in the fractal engines to create more cookies? There's so many different options as far as what that could possibly be. Could just be in a big moved to wherever I'm actually keeping my 51.795 dual vigintillion cookies. And we got the chocolate chip cookie, which is the cookie you see on the left there. This is the cookie you've been clicking the whole time. It looks a bit indented and nibbled on, but otherwise good as new. And I wouldn't really say that I've necessarily been clicking on it the whole time. After all, you tend to start getting more for just idling than actually clicking very quickly. Although, I mean, you could always click in addition to everything else. Now, if we're talking about the golden cookies, though, which I'm fairly certain uses the same image, maybe that is true. Plain cookies. We all gotta start somewhere. What does that even mean? Like, what's the difference between a plain cookie and a sugar cookie? Because the sugar cookie's the next one. Tasty, if a bit unimaginative. Yeah, I would consider a plain cookie to be a sugar cookie. Is it just a standard chocolate chip cookie minus the chocolate chips? I guess. Oatmeal raisin cookies, no reason to hate these. I mean, yeah, especially considering they look exactly like the regular chocolate chip cookies, but slightly lighter. Peanut butter cookies, get yourself some jam cookies, of which I would say there's definitely quite a few cookies that you consider jam cookies. You, for example. Or, of course, thumbprint cookies. Now, would they go particularly good together? I don't know. I feel like eating 2 cookies at once might be a bit excessive. Coconut cookies, flaky but not unreliable. Some people go crazy for these. All right, avalanches. Macadamia nut cookies, they're macadam delicious. Almond cookies, sometimes you feel like one of these, sometimes you don't. I do like almond pastries, period. So I'm going to be feeling, well, not like one of the cookies, but like having one of the cookies, certainly, most of the time. Although I will admit, you know, hazelnut cookies, walnut cookies, cashew cookies. To be honest, I'm not a huge fan of, nuts and pastries. I like, you know, just a plain brownie as opposed to one that has nuts in it, or the same thing with cookies. I mean, if it's like almond flavored, that's one thing. If it has big chunks of almond in it, or just whole almonds, not as much. I mean, unless we're talking about stuff like, I don't know, baklava or whatever, which that's the main part of the pastry. So, you know, of course, you got to have that in there, which I do believe, yeah, baklava is coming up later, right? White chocolate cookies. Know what you'll say? They're just cocoa butter. It's not real chocolate. Yeah, but it has like the same sort of, I mean, yes, that is true, but it's also, you know, chocolate, it has the same sort of consistency and use as chocolate. I think that's completely fair. Double chip cookies, double the chips, double the tasty, double the calories. That's not how that works. The calories don't entirely come from only the chips themselves. Developer's favorite, white chocolate macadamia nut cookies. Too much stuff. I do like macadamia nuts, but like I said, I like macadamia nuts separate from a pastry. I mean, I will enjoy like a candy, you know, like a peanut M&M or like an almond M&M. I think those are pretty good. It's just, I don't know, something about, I guess it's that I don't want, you know, soft pastry cake-like, especially texture combined then with a hard nut. Snickerdoodles, true to their name. That's a classic one. Make a ton of those all the time. They're more or less just sugar cookies, but the sugar also has a lot of cinnamon in them. Stroopwafels, if it ain't Dutch, it ain't much. Macaroons, yeah, macarons. It's like they're very different. And then there's also other ones. Like, what is it? The one? No, not tiles. That's a different thing. But I remember there's like a horseshoe-shaped one that, at least people where I live used to call macarons or macaroons or both or something. And I don't know where those fit into the general classification of cookies. Empire biscuits. Madeline's Unforgettable. That's the one that you got a specific achievement for clicking on at the very end of the update log. Palmiers, another one of those cookies. A cookie that I have made a few times when I was really trying to get into making puff pastry. They're good, and they're a good way to use a puff pastry that you're not quite sure if the quality is particularly high. Because, you know, they're very tiny, so, you know, you don't have to worry about, you know, like making a millefleur cake. I still don't know how to pronounce that. Pallets? Palets? I don't know. Well, play hockey with these. I mean, you're welcome to try. I guess. Names imply they're made out of sand, but you know better, don't you? And gingerbread men like to bite the legs off first. How about tearing off the arms, you sick monster? I think that's a Shrek reference. Of course it is. Of course it's got to be. Yeah, like gingerbread man, gingerbread trees, you'd think would be more for the Christmas cookies, but I guess these were probably introduced well before the Christmas event was a thing. Pure black chocolate cookies, pure white chocolate cookies, just the upgrade from the previous, like, white chocolate cover cookies and dark chocolate cover cookies. Lady fingers, clean and sanitized so well, you swear they're actual biscuits. Ugh. Tiles, these never go out of tile. Chocolate stuffed biscuits, a princely snack. The holes are so the chocolate stuffing can breathe. I mean, I'm fairly certain that they're so that when you press the cookie on top of it, that it doesn't, you know, have a bunch of air pockets in them, right? Square cookies, this solves so many storage and packaging problems. You're a genius! I always think of these things as being like the Yoshi's cookie, which is as far as I know, a wildly unpopular game. I feel like I never hear anybody reference it, but, well, what are you gonna do, right? Cream cookies, like 2 chocolate chip cookies, with the magic of cream. It's fiendishly perfect. I do like a lot of, I mean, and then you also later on have the marshmallow sandwich cookies. I like sandwich cookies. I think sandwich cookies are good. They're, of course, very excessive. Yes, let's just glue 2 cookies together with frosting, which, yeah. Cigars, close but no match those extravagant cookie straws that they serve in coffee shops these days. Never got one of those. I've seen them. They look good, but also, I mean, why do I need like a big cookie to have a coffee? Oh, pinwheel cookies bring you the dizzying combination of brown flavor and beige taste. Fudge squares, not exactly cookies. They're not. Fudge is not cookies. Utterly ridiculous. These aren't even. These should be in the box of not cookies. What are you doing? Shortbread biscuits, butter cookies are neither short nor bread. What a country. Millionaire shortbreads, thought-provoking layers of creamy chocolate, hard-working caramel, and crumbly biscuit. That's a lot of stuff on a cookie. I mean, I would, of course, enjoy it. A poignant commentary of class struggle. I'd enjoy this sort of thing. I don't know if I've ever had a millionaire shortbread before, but like I said, I do like a bunch of extra stuff on a cookie. I like a cookie when it's loaded up with a bunch of frosting or whatever. What can I say? Pecan Sandies. Name a band after it. Whatever. Again, I gave my opinion on nuts and cookies before. Moravian spice cookies, the world's most Moravianist cookies. Anzac biscuits, army biscuits from a bakery down under, containing no eggs but yes oats. Butter cakes glistening with cholesterol. These cookies moistly straddle the line between the legal definition of cookie and just a straight up stick of butter. I mean, well, that's what like a pound cake is. What do you think the pound is? It's not talking about the cake itself. It's talking about the pound of butter you put into it. Ice cream sandwiches in an alternate universe. Ice cream sandwich designates an ice cream cone filled with bacon, lettuce, and tomatoes, and maybe some sprinkles too. Again, you can say this is a cookie, I guess. You know, I was going to say, I don't know if a sandwich is really a cookie, but nah, it is very cookie-like, isn't it? That's a lot of ice cream to be had, though. Pink biscuits, one of the oldest cookies, owing their pink color to, what is it? Crushed up beetle shells? It's interesting. I mean, it certainly gives it a very notable sort of look compared to, I would say, most of the other cookies on here. I mean, it's nothing compared to like the ube, but still. Whole grain cookies covered in seeds and other earthy looking debris, really giving it that 5-second rule. Look. Ugh. Candy cookies. These melt in your hands just a little bit. They're not supposed to, but, well, they do. Big chip cookies. We're running out of ideas. And not even remotely close to the end of it. All on the size of these chips, absolute units. And one chip cookies, again, what is this? What is this cookie? Certainly you could have found something else. Sprinkles cookies, a bit of festive decorating, helps hide the fact this might be one of the blandest cookies you've ever tasted. Yeah, it's just like a sugar cookie, except with sprinkles instead. And sprinkles are not a replacement for sugar. I'll say that. No-bake cookies. The mysterious ovenless treats come to be, or how they hold their shape. Thinking either elephant glue or cold fusion. Oh, but I have 1,100 ovens, at least according to the April Fool's Business Day thing. What are they doing if I'm just making these? Well, you gotta have a diversity in cookies, right? Florentines, these make up for being fruitcake of cookies by at least having the decency to feature chocolate. Okay. Chocolate crinkles, non-denominational cookies, celebrate year-round deliciousness and certainly not Christmas or some other nonsense. I have no idea what the reference is here. Maple cookies, made from syrup from land where milk comes in bags. You know, funny thing is, instead of spontaneously pooling at the bottom of your screen depending on your achievements, or apparently filling the multiverse. You know, funny thing is that everybody's always like, oh yeah, milk comes in bags in Canada and whatever. When I was in grade school, one of the things they tried out for a brief amount of time was changing milk from coming in little cartons, because I don't know if grade school students still get little cartons of milk, you know, on their break or whatever anymore, but that was true back when I was in school. And for a brief amount of time, they actually did change them out instead of being cartons with just like plastic bags filled with milk. Thinking back on that, it's utterly and completely bizarre. I don't really know. I mean, I guess it must have been significantly cheaper to have little bags of milk, but well, anyway, that's a story. Ube cookies tend to be obtained by the use of purple yams. According to the color symbolism, these cookies are either noble, holy, or supervillains. Indeed. Butterscotch cookies, right amount of sticky, makes you feel like you're eating candy. I feel like there's so many better options if you want to eat candy as far as cookies go. I mean, certainly, you eventually get to the point where you just have the Twix parody, which are definitely, I mean, I guess, how much would you consider a wafer to be a cookie? I don't know. I find that, like, do you consider crackers to be bread? Do you consider a sweetened wafer to be a cookie? I think that you should. Definitely some of them are more cookie-like than others. I mean, we got like the waffle cookies, for example. These are cookies with shockingly waffle-like features or simply regular cookie-sized waffles are a debate that we're not going to get into here. Biscotti, almonds, and pistachios make a very robust cookie with a slightly more interesting to eat than to bludgeon people with. They are some dense cookies, but I mean, that's the sort of cookie. Forget about the cigars. That's the sort of cookie that I'd like with coffee. Custard creams and bourbon biscuits. British lore pits these in a merciless war against bourbon biscuits. The filling evokes vanilla without quite approaching it. They're tastier on the inside. And bourbon biscuits, two chocolate biscuits joined together with even more chocolate. The sworn rival of custard creams, as legend has it. Yeah, never heard of them before. Mini cookies. Have you ever noticed how smaller something is, the easier it is to binge on it? No. Like, the size of something has never stopped me from eating ungodly quantities of it. Anyway, when it comes to, whoopie pies, two chocolate halves joined together by cream filling. Got no eyebrows, but you never noticed that until now. Whoopie? I don't know. That's got to be a reference to something. Yeah, whoopie pies are my favorite type of caramel wafer biscuits. That's the sort of thing I'm talking about with the wafer cookies. And Shrek references. Apparently, as many layers as you'll get in a biscuit without involving onions. I should probably be reading off some of these at the very least, and some of the descriptions of these, because I assume people are not actually looking at the screen. Chocolate chip mocha cookies. That as an excuse to smuggle chocolate into coffee, and now in a poignant display of diplomacy and cultural exchange, it's bringing coffee to chocolate cookies. But yes, I was going to say about the whoopie pies, I like chocolate pastry with vanilla frosting. That's always my favorite. Do I like Oreos? Yes, absolutely. Although I do feel like those cookies are very solid. They're not quite in a cake-like sort of texture. But a whoopie pie, I think, is just the perfect style of that. And it's just something about a chocolate cake. I find so much. I don't like it. I don't like chocolate to be too concentrated into like a frosting or something like that. Which is why I like it as the sort of graham crackers. I mean, inspired by the design to wish to live a life of austere temperance, free from pleasure or cheer. It's no wonder these are so tasty. Graham crackers. I think graham crackers is being more crust for a cheesecake or something rather than something that I would have just by itself. Also, at least going by when I was a kid, a very easy way to make a good sandwich cookie. Just throw a little bit of frosting in the middle there, and you've got yourself. It's not really a sandwich cookie, but it's sort of like one. Hardtack. Extremely hard, and if we're being honest, extremely tack. If you considered eating this as a fun snack, you probably like have other things to worry about in this game, like getting scurvy or your crew fomenting mutiny. Yeah, I don't know if I would even consider hardtack. I would say is close to a biscuit. It's like an unleavened biscuit, right? Meh. Cornflake cookies, they're groovy. They're compared to a lot of other. We have had peanut butter cookies. If there is one type of cookie that I associate with having grooves, made by pressing a fork into the top of the cookie, it would probably be peanut butter cookies, not cornflake cookies. I know the references to Frosted Flakes, which you probably wouldn't want to, use in a cornflake cookie anyway. Feels like that would be excessively sweet. Be careful not to let it sit in your milk too long unless you accidentally end up with a bowl of cereal and get confused. I mean, look, I know a lot of cereals are not particularly healthy for you. My favorite, no surprise. If there's one thing you're going to be learning from me talking about all these cookies is that I do very much enjoy I do like sweet foods. But I don't know. I like a Fruity Pebbles. That's like my favorite type of cereal, and it's the worst one for you. Lebkuchen. Diverse cookies from Germany, fragrant with honey and spices, often baked around Christmas. Once worn by warriors of old for protection in battle, +5 strength, +20% magic resistance. That's a good amount of strength and magic resistance. I have no idea what the reference is there. They look really good in the icon used. I've never actually had a Lebkuchen before. Something I should make at some point in time. Definitely, like bacon cookies for the holidays are something that I do like doing. I should really diversify this sort of stuff because, yeah, what I'll do is I'll make like a ricotta cookie right there. Or just little cutout cookies, stuff like that. Should do more. And certainly learning about cookies in this game does give me the perfect sort of opportunity to do that. On with the Nice biscuits, traces its origins to a French city, so nice they named it that. Next three are specifically French cookies, with French pure butter cookie and the Petite Beurre. Little butter, famed and feared for its 4 ears and 48 teeth. When it hears you, it'll get you. I don't know. Nanaimo bars, delicious no-bake pastry hailing from Canada. Are these ones technically cookies? I always thought that they were more of I guess they're like bar cookies, right? But they're not close to like a fudge sort of thing, right? Maybe I'm mistaken on that. Burger cookies, messily slathered with chocolate fudge, one of the most popular burgers of Baltimore. The triple fried egg burger and the blue crab cheeseburger. Those both sound really good, I'm not gonna lie. Chinsuko, a piece in Okinawa in cookie form, a part of a Japanese custom of selling sweets as souvenirs. And hey, pressed pennies are cool too. That's defacing money. You're not supposed to do that. I actually don't know. Do people even do the pressed pennies thing these days? I don't think so. Beloved Indonesian pastry. Names mean snow princess. Putri Salju. For the powdered sugar that it's coated with. Have we had these cookie clickers some years ago? This is where we make reference to that one Disney movie, but it's probably time to let it go. Okay, so I guess starting to get an idea of the timeline as to when things are being added. Milk cookies. Crude note. Festive Dutch favorite. Tiny cinnamony bites covered in chocolate. Name translates roughly to crude noten. Okay. I do see that, yeah, with this, the speculoos, and what was the other one? It seemed like a lot of Dutch cookies utilize cinnamon, which is good. I mean, I do like cinnamon. Marie biscuits, pleasantly round, smoothly buttery, slightly subtly vanilla flavored, ornately embossed, and each round representing a person Marie killed in prison. I have no idea what these cookies are. I am not familiar with them at all. Meringue cookies. Most exciting thing you can make out of egg whites. No, meringue is great and it's very versatile. Also called the forgotten cookies, with the recipe once being lost in a sealed mystical vault for 10,000 years. I do think I have heard there is some truth to that, where people create. I would almost consider these to be more of a candy, even. But I guess that, yeah, like the recipe for them was like lost for many years before being rediscovered, more or less. Thumbprint cookies. No longer admissible as biometric evidence in court. We're not having a repeat of that whole mess. I mean, after you cook the cookie, it's not actually going to work for that regardless. And I have now taken so long perusing these upgrade descriptions that it is no longer business day, really making me wonder if this entire part of the video was worth it. I'm most of the way through now. I might as well finish it up. You should have done a tier list. Or just made some cookies. I could have made a batch of chocolate chip cookies and took a video of that. That would have actually been a pretty funny way to do this, but, well, too late now. Ricotta cookies, light and cake-like, often flavored with lemon or almond extract. Sprinkles optional, allegedly Italian. Investigation pending. My favorite way of making it, almond extract. I like almonds. They're good. And, you know, I like cake-like cookies overall. A nice, soft, moist cookie. I mean, sure, yes, having a dense cookie that you dip in milk and everything like that is good. But that's also a lot of work compared to what you get out of just eating a ricotta cookie. Yes, another one of the pink cookies. I specifically talked about the cochineal extract being used for pink biscuits, but I'm fairly certain that's still a common extract everywhere. And probably including cookies like this, too. Icing on these Dutch cookies is traditionally pink, but different colors can be used for special occasions, such as pink to celebrate Breast Cancer Awareness Month or International Flamingo Day pink. You know, that famous color of pink that we all know. Peanut butter cup cookies. I mean, I guess we already did do the peanut butter blossoms. Yeah, I mean, it's just a chocolate and peanut butter cookie, more or less. And this goes even more. What more poignant example of modern societal struggles than the brazen reclaiming of a corporate product by integrating it into a vastly more authentic shell of a homemade undertaking? Anyway, this is a peanut butter cup baked into a cookie. It's pretty good. Yeah, I feel like it's a bit excessive. I think the blossom cookie is just fine by itself. Sesame cookies. Look at all the little seeds on these. This if somebody dropped them on a street or something. A very welcoming and educational street. Okay, you get it. Taiyaki. Pastry fish. Again, I don't know if you would necessarily consider this to be a cookie. But anyway. Filled with red bean paste, doomed to live an existence of constant and excruciating pain as its aquatic environment slowly dissolves its soft, doughy body. Also comes in chocolate flavor. Vanilla Kip Farrell. Had plenty of these. I did not know that these are actually what they're called. Nut-based cookies from Central Europe, coated with vanilla sugar. Regular Kip Farrell, crescent-shaped bread rolls from the same region, much less exciting. Yeah. No, I've eaten plenty of these ones before. Battenberg biscuits, inspired by a cake of the same name, itself named after a prince of the same name. You suppose you could play a really short game of chess on these. I don't what sort of pieces could you even put on this board that would not be an instant checkmate? Or stalemate, really. Rosette cookies. Intricate fried pastries. Again, kind of stretching the definition of cookies, but certainly there. If you're doing stuff like the single chip cookies, you can be very creative, I guess. Fried pastries from Northern Europe, using specialized irons and dipped in icing sugar. Usually eaten as a delicious treat, also used as Christmas tree decorations or worn elegantly on one's lapel to symbolize, and I'm just messing with you. Yeah. I swear I have seen like the Christmas tree decoration, or at least something that looks very similar to that before. Gang makers. Raspberry jam at the center is crucial. A plain butter cookie with chocolate topping does not a gang maker make. I mean, really, it makes more of a... there's plenty of other cookies that can more or less be described as that. The burger cookie, sort of. Messily slathered with chocolate fudge. Kinda. Welsh cookies, also known as Welsh cakes, baked stones, grilled cakes, grill stones, picks, or in Welsh, it's currant filled and scone-like biscuits of uncertain origin. Raspberry cheesecake cookies. Humble raspberry cheesecake now in ascended cookie form. I don't know if I would necessarily consider cookies to be the ultimate life form, but then again, I am playing Cookie Clicker, so they probably do. Evidence of the final form of every baked good through convergent evolution approaches that of a cookie in a process called cookieization. Yes, carsonization being brought into the Cookie Clicker version of that. Boken pooches consists of 2 meringue halves joined by buttercream and dipped both ways in chocolate. That sounds really good right now. I mean, recording this at the beginning of the day, or at least at the beginning of the day from me, I do have a nice mocha that I'm having right now, but still, that doesn't mean that I wouldn't like some of these cookies anyway. Fat Rascals, almond smiled Yorkshire cakes with a rich history and even richer recipe. More diet conscious are invited to try the lean version, skinny scallywags. This I always feel. Fat Rascals are always the cookies that I associate with the point in time that things start to actually get pretty expensive. You're not going to be able to just afford 100, all of the next upgrades instantaneously. Because I think this is about the point in time that you unlock the final building, so you're not really going to be getting enormous increases in progress past that point. Well, minus getting, of course, big combos. Ischler cookies, originating in the Austro-Hungarian Empire, these are spread throughout every region every country in Eastern Europe and spawn just as many recipes, each claiming to be the original. Base remains unchanged across all variations, 2 biscuits sandwiched around chocolate buttercream. Or was it jam? I swear I've seen more jam style, but I suppose I don't know. Matcha cookies. Green tea and cookies and matcha made in heaven. Dalgona. I'm fairly certain Dalgona are more candy than cookies. I mean, it's shaped like a cookie, I guess. Korean candy-like treat, one of the twisted games many people play with these to carefully extract the shape in the middle, which may entitle one to another free Dalgona. Skilled players may perform this over and over until bankrupting the snack vendor. The cookie clicker method, of course, because if there's one thing about this game, it is finding any sort of loophole or whatever to create infinite cookies. Spice cookies, containing chocolate chips and prepared with hot peppers, just like the Aztecs used to make. It does sound good. It also does look exactly like a normal cookie, except they put like a little red sparkle on the bottom right. Smile cookies. As eyes are the windows to the soul, so too are these cookies' facial features, a gaping opening into the chocolatey innards. Is it happiness they feel, or something less human? I don't like these cookies. I don't like these cookies at all. They frighten me. Kolache cookies. Adapted from a type of Central European pastry, neatly folded to hold a spoonful of delicious jam, or as a bashful little gift for your mouth. I guess that's how you could look at these cookies. Sure. Goma cookies, Surinamese corn flour cookies with sprinkles on top. Usage of corn imparts them a hint of chewy pizzazz, which you wouldn't get with wheat, a famously stuck-up grain. That also sounds really good. Man, I want some cookies. After looking through all these vegan cookies, it's the same thing. It's the same thing as several other pictures that I've already seen. Tofu, spicy, just a regular chocolate chip. A vegan riff on the classic chocolate chip cookie with a couple substitutions. The butter is now coconut oil, the eggs are cornstarch, and the suckling pig was cleverly replaced with wheat gluten. You can hardly tell. Yes, of course. With the way that cookies are created in the Cookie Clicker universe, vegan cookies are probably something shockingly difficult to come by. Coyotas, a wide, delicious cookie from Mexico, usually filled with a sticky brown sugar. Not to be confused with coyotas. Coyotas, I don't know. The result of breeding between a North American canine and a Japanese car manufacturer. Okay, you get it. Frosted sugar cookies. More style than substance, depending on the recipe. Nothing that hides itself under this much frosting should be trusted. I feel like these are always the sort of cookies that it's like, oh, you can buy a dozen of in a gas station or something. Not to say that they're bad, but they are, style than substance, I suppose, is a good way to put it. Marshmallow sandwich cookies, more civilized cousins. I mean, you already have, you count graham crackers as being cookies. Talking about civilized. Regular chocolate chip cookies joined by a gooey, melty marshmallow. Theoretically, one could assemble all kinds of things this way. The mind races. I mean, I suppose. I do think that marshmallow, compared to like the cream cookies, is a lot denser and more sugary. Or at least just larger entirely. It seems a bit excessive to me is what I'm trying to say. Steamed cookies. Simpsons reference. Havaflarn, thin, crispy, buttery, Norwegian for oat flakes. Chocolate variant, dubbed Dubla Chocolate Flarn, our trip for the tongue as well, as evidenced by what you're hearing at this very moment. And we're not just talking about the pronunciation. Alpha Horse? I don't know. Treat made of two halves, variations throughout the Spanish-speaking world, commonly involving nuts, honey, and dulce de leche. Despite popular misconception, act as pack leaders over beta whores and only in captivity. Okay. Gaufrettes, French for little gaufre, itself meaning waffle. A gaufrette, therefore, is a crispy, airy biscuit with the texture of a small waffle related to the wafer, which may contain various fillings. Also may refer to a type of fried potato, but that's not what we're about here at Cookie Clicker. Oh, don't even lie to me. You are all about weird, nonsensical definitions of cookies here at Cookie Clicker. Cookie bars, which appear really late into the game. I mean, you would think that just the basic bar cookie would be one of the first things that you unlock after you go through the traditional sort of cookies that you think of when you think of cookies. Makes a large sheet of uniform cookie dough and then cut into little squares. These are what chocolate brownies aspire to be in their most self-indulgent dreams. They both got their own place, as far as I'm concerned. It's like cookie bars are cookies. Brownies are just, unleavened chocolate cake. Not to be confused with a bar where cookies are served alongside alcoholic drinks, because that's not what we're about here at Cookie Clicker. Okay, you can start to see when perhaps some of these descriptions were written one after another. Snowball cookies, melt in your mouth, made with chopped nuts and heaps of icing sugar. Serve cold or resist the urge to throw. That'd be a lot of cleanup, especially if you got like icing sugar all over it. Squillos, buttery cornstarch-based cookies eaten in Brazil. Addictive grooves are from pressing down on them with the back of a fork, though in a pinch you can also just slash them with Wolverine-style wrist blades. Pretty much in the same way that you would make a peanut butter cookie, really. Hazelnut swirlies. Cocoa content of the paste inside is unfortunately just too low for these to qualify as chocolate cookies. Also the name of a particularly nasty bullying move. Okay. Spritz. Squeeze through special cookie presses into all kinds of fun shapes. Yeah, I always like these cookies. They're very one of those ones that you eat a lot around the holidays, and the colors and shapes are definitely a highlight of it. Mumatata cookies, the squishy cookies from Malawi. The core ingredient is sweet potatoes, and the raisin and heart shape are optional if you hate fun, of course. And then finally, Springles. Springerless? Springale? I don't know. An ancient anise-flavored biscuit from Central Europe, imprinted by a wooden mold into all kinds of interesting designs, such as a commemorative scene, or an intricate pattern, or, I don't know, a little horsey. Yeah, actually, looking up pictures of these things, they're apparently very large. Also, yeah, it's interesting how popular anise flavor was in older recipes for cookies, like that, like the ricotta cookies, just a number of different recipes, and that's kind of fallen out of favor in modern day, hasn't it? Butter horseshoes, behoove you not to overindulge in these. I mean, these are just all the butter. Lord, what fools these mortals be. This is kind of a hokey reference, yeah, I'll say. Midsummer Night Dream, man. Butternuts. Call these pretzels if you want, but you would just be fooling yourself. Yeah, no, a pretzel is not at all remotely close to a butternut. It looks similar. It's not the same. Nothing butter than a slab to the face. Nothing butter than a slab to the face. I don't know if I've ever heard these called slabs, but I guess it's not an inappropriate way to name it. Butter swirls, parts sugar, butter, and warm, fuzzy feelings, all of which cause millions of deaths every day. That's it for the butter cookies, so we go on to brand biscuits. Yeah. Karamoas, sag-alongs, short foils. Yeah, okay, come on now. Wind mints, luckiest cookies you've ever tasted, and yet doesn't give me any increased luck. Strange, isn't it? Fig glutens, L'Oreals. I get, and the description, because they're worth it, is L'Oreal, the shampoo. Boy, the parody names of these get kind of something. Reese's Cups that's not even a cookie. That is a candy. Come on now. That's brand biscuits. Unless there is some sort of other type of cup cookie that I am just not aware of. Digits I'm not even familiar with. Lombardia cookies come from those farms with a really good memory. Yeah. Lombardia. It's got to be some sort of reference there. French cookies made of delicious cinnamon and candied sugar. Do not contain nuts. I don't. Festivity loops? Again, these are definitely something I'm not even entirely sure, though. Garish biscuits fit for a child's birthday parties. Funerals of strange, eccentric billionaires. Well, anything is fit for a funeral of a strange, eccentric billionaire. It's like it could be literally anything. Ava breaks, it's just... They do have wafers inside of them. I wouldn't really consider them to be cookies. Overseas countries manufacture these in hundreds of unique flavors, such as green tea, lobster bisque, and dark chocolate. I think we have actually gotten dark chocolate over in the U.S. at this point in time. I'll be honest, I don't really eat a whole lot of candy, but Zilla wafers somehow keep ending up in banana pudding. They Nilla wafers are very good in banana pudding. It's actually a good combination. Named after a beloved radioactive prehistoric monster for some reason. Yeah. Dim Dams. 2 biscuits joined by chocolate and coated in even more chocolate. Not even sure. Pokey. Commonly thought to be named because it's fun Pokey classmates with these. Pokey brand sticks actually get their name from popularity in smoke-free prisons where they're commonly smuggled and traded in lieu of cigarettes. And then nines. Fancy little squares of dark chocolate filled with frosty mint fondant, named after the suggested hour of consumption. Someone keep these from the status of cookies. Me, they're talking about me right now, as they involve very little in the way of pastry, but here at Cookie Clicker, that's just not what we're about. Okay, somebody really liked that phrase when they were writing this. British deep biscuits. Yes, just a very simple sort of... I like cookies. Very simple sort of gag for all of those. And you get them pretty much immediately. And it's a nice way to get a little extra multiplier right at the beginning of the game. Well, right at the beginning of an ascension, not at the beginning of the game. Good luck getting these at the beginning of the game. Rose macarons, although an odd flavor, pastries recently rose in popularity. Ooh, Lemon macarons, tastefully sour, delightful treats. Oh, that sounds really good. Chocolate macarons are like tiny sugary burgers. Pistachio, now removed after shells now removed after multiple complaints. Ugh. Again, that's why I don't like. This is why I didn't like nuts and pastries in the first place. It's just that sort of difference in texture I do not enjoy. Hazelnut macarons go especially well with coffee, and I said before that I'm drinking coffee right now, at least in this section of me recording, of which there's been several, clearly. That sounds good. Violet, it's like spraying perfume into your mouth. Yeah, I don't know about that one. Caramel, saltiest, chewiest of them all. Licorice. And then finally, Earl Grey. Bringing in the second type of Earl Grey cookies that exist in this game for some reason. Profiteroles, also known as cream puffs, light, fluffy, filled with whipped cream, fun to throw at people when snowballs are running scarce, because we're now getting into the definitely not cookies sort of stuff. Jelly donut, guaranteed to contain at least 0.3% jelly filling or your money back. Yeah. Look, I like me a jelly donut, but yeah, they don't really have that much jelly in them, do they? Glazed donut, gooey with sugar, and the hole is the tastiest part. Well, considering that donut holes as a type of a playful wordplay are a thing, it's like that could very well be the case. This cake is a Bortle reference. Okay. Not easy to come up with flavor tests for something as generic as a strawberry cake, but some would say it's a piece of cake. Apple pie. It said that some grandmas go rogue and bake these instead. Yeah. Lemon meringue pie. Meringue is a finicky substance made of sugar and egg whites that requires a specific atmospheric conditions to be baked at all. They're not that specific, as long as you're not trying to bake it on top of a mountain. I say this as somebody who's baked a lot of things with meringue before. The lemon, as far as we can tell, isn't nearly as picky. Oh, the lemon meringue pie, no, not at all. Butter croissant. Oh, I could really go for a butter croissant now. In fact, that'd probably go better with my coffee than a cookie, because this one's a little bit more savory. Baklavas, layers of paper-thin dough and crushed pistachios, absolutely sticky with honey and all kinds of other good things. Just what you need to conceal your identity during that bank heist, because I guess baklava kind of sounds like balaclava. Kind of. I don't know. Cookie dough, bursting with infinite potential, even though it looks like chocolate chip cookie dough, can also be eaten as is, arguably worth a salmonella, and I would eat it as is. I love doing that. Burnt cookie. This cookie flew too close to the sun, is now a shadow of its former self. If only you remembered to set a timer, you wouldn't have this tragedy on your hand. I have time machines. This literally should not be able to happen. You should not be possible in the first place. A chocolate chip cookie with the chips picked off for some reason. Look, if we're counting plain cookies, I think we're counting this one as a cookie. Right? Flavor text cookie. What you're currently reading is what gives this cookie its inimitable flavor. We're pulling out the thesaurus words. You can't just say unique, eh? Also, why is this one not in the self-referential tier? I feel like that's a perfect candidate for that. High definition cookie, uncomfortably detailed, like those weird stories your aunt keeps telling at parties. Crackers, non-flavored kind with no salt added. Judgment-free wheat square, begging to have bits of ham and spreadable cheese piled onto it. Its main contribution being crunchy. I mean, you say that, but then we also do have wheat slims that I got from harvesting wheat too, so... Only reason you consider these to be cookies is because you feel slightly sorry for them. And, all this sort of stuff. It's like, and yet for some reason, hardtack gets to be counted as a regular cookie. Deep fried cookie dough. They'll fry anything these days. Drizzled in hot chocolate syrup, just like in state fairs. Spikes up your blood sugar and your cholesterol. I mean, I would definitely consider these to be cookies. I don't even think that's a maybe sort of thing. And then we got not cookies. Toast. Crisp slice of bread, begging for some butter and jam. Why do people keep proposing these at parties? Yeah. Peanut butter and jelly. Well, goes with the peanut butter cookie, I suppose. Wookiees. No, this is a dumb cookie. This is a dumb cookie, and I hate seeing it. A cheeseburger, absolutely no relation to cookie clickers, or Teal just wanted an excuse to draw a cheeseburger. It looks pretty good. One lone chocolate chip, the start of something beautiful. Pizza. What is pizza if not a large, chewy cookie frosted with a rather exuberant tomato and cheese icing? Not a cookie, that's what. Well, and that's why it's in the not cookies. Then we got candy. 2 pillars of the world of sweets, pastries, and of course, candy. You can make a whole new game about these, but for now, just enjoy these assorted generic treats. Yeah, that being referenced to Candy Box, which was the inspiration for this game in the first place. Developer, as far as I know, has never been shy about admitting that, yeah, Cookie Clicker is, in a lot of ways, very specifically based on the old Candy Box game. Then all the stuff for the various holidays, which I can't remember exactly, but I'm fairly certain I talked about as I got them. I could go back and look at that, but also this is already taken way too long to get through this episode, so let's just keep moving on. Same thing with the stuff from the... Yeah, I already talked about these ones when I got them from the garden. Fragrant and mealy with a slight yellow aftertaste. That's such a description. And then more stuff for the holidays. Dragon cookie. The vigor and vitality of a full-grown cookie dragon. This mystical cookie will embolden your empire for generations to come. And then we got the butter biscuit ones for having a certain amount of everything, which, again, I'm fairly certain I went through already. Becoming increasingly more ridiculous, and for some reason always having my face on it, even though that's not reflected in the image itself. It definitely gets increasingly wacky until you get to the butter biscuit with butter. And then every butter biscuit, and finally personal biscuit, the one that is just me, in biscuit form. Bootstrapped with a copy of your own consciousness. I don't like that at all. But at the same time, I think this is one of the ones that I have as permanent upgrade because it is... It's kind of hard to get like 700 of everything. I mean, even right now, I don't have 700 U. Birthday cookie. Thank you for playing Cookie Clicker. Hey, I do enjoy Cookie Clicker. And finally, birthday cookie. Thank you for playing Cookie Clicker. I've had a good time. Various milks, plain chocolate, raspberry, orange, caramel into banana, which are pretty similar to each other. Yeah, a lot of these you just kind of confuse with each other because they look fairly similar. There's only so many hues that you can give to the milk at the bottom of the screen without making it look not really like milk. Not that that doesn't happen anyway. Got like tea milk, coconut milk, which is just... It's like if you told me that was regular milk, I probably would believe you. Cherry milk. Spiced milk. I always like the look of spiced milk, but yeah, it is also... It doesn't really look like milk now, does it? Maple, mint, licorice. Rose, which I think is supposed to look like it has little petals in it, I guess. Dragon fruit, melon, blackcurrant, peach. And finally, hazelnut, until, I guess, more new achievements are added. Until then, though, this is the ultimate form of milk. And then, very finally, wrapping everything up, going through all the achievements. Many of them I've, of course, seen before. But, you know, then, of course, but then a lot of them just went by too quickly without being able to really see them. Universal, going from Galactic Universal Bakery, Timeless Bakery, go from a distance to space, or to time itself. We go from space to time is the thing that I'm trying to say. Infinite Bakery, Immortal, and then kind of drop that entire thing. Don't stop me now. You can stop. Cookies all the way down. That's what this universe is based on. Cookies all over the place. And just a sort of weird evolution that you can see through the various achievements. There's like an apocalypse starts and concludes and stuff like that. And it seems like, yeah, the entire thing is that I guess it'll probably, if there's even any more updates, it's hard to say, just kind of loop back around to he who controls the cookies controls the universe. The milk must flow. Goes just all the way back to being a single cookie image once again. And in the mouth of madness, a cookie is just what we tell each other it is. I mean, that is how the Cortex Bakers work, as we've seen in their description. Cookie... What was it? One of these things here. Epistemological trickery. Yes, what is or isn't a cookie? Do wonderful things for your profit margins. Because that's what you do, baby. Brought to you by the letter cookie emoji. Best dreams, the dreams in which I'm baking are the best I've ever had. Panic at Nabisco. Yeah, okay. Just about full, and it's not even close to the end. And then what? More cookies. That's what it always is. And then by the time you get one sextillion, sometimes food. Horn of plenty. Only wafer thin, just the one. What a very specific reference and an image to be associated with that. Everything being on fire. Max capacity, not even the last one. History in the baking. What do you get for the baker who has everything? More cookies, clearly. Bottomless pit is just turns to a starry background. Rainy day, and then a little extra for the 1 trevigentillion. Same sort of thing for the per second stuff. Mass producer, cookie vortex, pulsar, quasar. Oh, hey, you're still here. Which it's like a billion's not even enough to get a single ascension just yet. And you're saying, oh, hey, you're still here. Come on. When this baby hits 36 quadrillion cookies per hour. With a 10 trillion cookies per second. Fast and delicious. Cookie Hertz are really, really, really... a really, really tasty Hertz. Only 2 reallys. Tastier than a Hertz donut, anyway. I mean, I'm still making donuts regardless, because as we've seen, like, there's both jelly donuts and glazed donuts. Whoops, you solved world hunger. Turbo puns. Just absolutely nonsensical. And then, yeah, the point where, yeah, we just kind of start having fun with the way that these achievements work. There's really no limit to how long these achievement names can be, and to be honest, I'm rather curious to see how far it can go. Adolphus W. Green, 1844 to 1917, started the principal of the Groton School in 1864. By 1865, he became second assistant librarian at the New York Mercantile Library. From 1867 to 1869, he was promoted to full librarian. From 1869 to 1873, he worked for Everts, Southmaid, and Coet, a law firm founded by William M. Everts, Charles Ferdinand Southmaid, and Joseph Hodges Coet. He was admitted to the New York State Bar Association in 1873. Anyway, how's your day been? Pretty good. I've mostly just gotten a coffee and been reading Cookie Clicker lore for the past... Actually, it's only been like a half hour. Fast! Wow! Need for Speed. How do we not make this one yet? Yeah, well, and then we get right into the all-star references. All these icons are slightly off-center. Also said in one of the... And it's like this one appears to be even more off-center than usual, as there's like a little bit added to the left. I'm not even entirely sure. That just might be some sort of optical illusion at this point in time. Worth doing, it's worth overdoing. Learning so much about numbers in this game. Like, I wouldn't really know what, like, a duovigintillion was if I didn't play this, right? Gotta go fast. Bake them away, toys. Number 1, so why try harder? It's a reference to, what was it, Better? That shirt that guy was wearing on the album cover for Better Living Through Chemistry, the Fatboy Slim album. I don't know, that's what I always associate this phrase with. But, well, what do we even used to eat before these? With unrivaled fervor, indeed. That's pretty much how I would describe this game. And finally, Speed's the name of the game. No, it's not. It's called Cookie Clicker. That being the last achievement is... Oh, last achievement. For now. I mean, the 100 septendecillion cookies per second, and I'm already up to 153 octodecillion cookies per second, so... Clicktastic, Clickathon, Clickolympics, Clickorama, Clickasmic, okay. Clickageddon, Clicknarok, Clickastrophe, Clickcatalysim, whatever. The ultimate clickdown of Ultimate Destiny. Okay. All the kids with their pumped up clicks. Wow, I haven't thought about that song for a while. Anyway, one more click. Clickety split. Ain't that a click in the head? And what's not clicking? Indeed. Click, double click, mouse wheel. Apparently there was supposed to be one of the sort of alternate ways to play the game. Specific special ascensions or whatever. Obviously the only one that we got right now is just the no achievements whatever one for doing some of the more specific weirder achievements, like getting to 1 billion cookies without buying any upgrades sort of stuff. But I guess there was supposed to be one for using the mouse wheel to click instead, with upgrades specific to that. But never really got to see it. 1,000 Fingers of Dr. T. Is it 1,000? It's like 1,000, right? It's a movie. Thumbs, phalanges, metacarpals, and knuckles. Here I come. Rougher than the rest of them. Best them. Tougher than leather. You can call me Knuckles. Unlike Sonic, I don't chuckle. I'd rather flex my knuckles. I'm hard as Knuckles. It ain't hard to Knuckles. Click Delegator. Finger clicking good. Click starring Adam Sandler. I mean, yeah, but freak jazz hands. One of the level 10 cursors. I mean, what? Do you have 10 fingers normally? Having 10 fingers on one hand is probably not that weird, right? Sell a grandma. Elder, veteran, the Elder Scrolls for 777. Let me guess, someone stole your cookie. What a very weird specific reference. Again, I feel like I say that every couple minutes, but it still remains true. Sloppy Kisses, retirement home, friend of the ancients, ruler of the ancients. The old never bothered me. If this came out earlier, we would have probably made a reference to that one movie. Well, you got one in there. Age Master. Wow. Again, a movie that I have not thought about in a long time. Aged well, 101st birthday. And it's just all of these. I think it's specifically the, what is this, Astro Fudge tier ones are all just references to All-Star, aren't they? If I just go down it. I mean, not for the cursors. There is one though, with a finger and a thumb. Yeah, that's for the Jetmint though. Wait till you get older. Sharpest tool in the shed. Hey now, you're a rock for the mines. Break the mold. Get the show on. Get paid. World's on fire. How about yours? Doesn't really fit temples now, does it? Meteor men beg to differ for wizards. Summoning meteors. I mean, that's like a Final Fantasy thing, but I guess I'll give it. Only shooting stars for shipments. Sure, we could all use a little change for alchemy labs. It's good wordplay. Your brain gets smart, but your head gets dumb for portals. Nah, it doesn't really work there. Years start coming for time machines. Okay. What a concept for antimatter condensers. Too vague. Never shine if you don't glow for prisms. Never know if you don't go. For chance makers, it doesn't quite fit either. Never get bored for fractal engines. Doesn't make any sense. Taking the back streets for JavaScript consoles. Well, I mean, that is what runs in the background. What is making everything work. The architecture of the universe. So, I guess, away from this place for idle verses. Okay. Looking kind of dumb for Cortex Bakers. Okay. I mean, I already used finger and thumb. Didn't make sense not to live for you. Doesn't really work. But yes, and then... No, for the 700 upgrades, that's not the same thing. Again, 700 upgrades is the rarest achievement in the game, I believe still, even since was talking about that last. It's not like I'm sure a whole ton more people have started to play the game or anything like that, but yep, 5.5% off we mar what's well. But don't let that stop you. Don't let that stop you indeed. All right. Defense of the Ancients. Dota. Dota references. Why not? Moistly come at night. And now you're even older. Wow. Yeah! I forgot they made reference to that in here. Panic at the Bingo. We already had Panic at Nabisco. Why not have two in this game, right? And Methuselah. Give that good old biblical reference for level 10 grandmas. Bought the farm. Fun fact. For like doing April Fools, what I wanted to do is I wanted to have this video out because I wanted to have good content while I was also doing the April Fool's joke. But the April Fool's joke was supposed to be that what I was going to do was I was going to read through like the first couple chapters of Moby Dick or some other novel and basically just give commentary on it like I'm doing here, although I would be reading the entire thing rather than just sort of mousing over these while I'm talking about something completely unrelated. Harvest Moon. Make like a tree and leaf. So yeah, obviously this has taken longer than I expected to do to end up recording this because of this dumb section that I included in here anyway. But just imagine that I also put up, me reading through like the first 5 chapters of Moby Dick and talking about like my speculation on where the story is going to go and all that sort of stuff too. That was going to be the joke. Maybe next year I can finally do the episode of Dead Cells entirely in Japanese. I still do not feel confident. That's been one I wanted to do for like an April Fool's thing for a while, but I still just never feel confident in my ability to actually speak that language. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. Anyway, bought the farm as a reference to Moby Dick. Tectonic Ambassador. Romancing the Stone. Oh boy. And then more movie references. Cave Story. Fun fact, second guy tried to make me listen to a hip-hop album based around the 2004, 2006 indie game Cave Story, and I just completely and totally refused. And I will not do that. Because I won't. That's ridiculous. Minecraft. I haven't played Minecraft for a while. I played it for the first time back in 2021, and it was actually a lot of fun. I mean, it's a good game. I do think that it's a game that I would have liked to have seen updated a lot more. I mean, I look at it with something like Terraria, and I'm just like, man, if only that had gotten nearly as many huge game-changing updates, adding in new enemies and stuff like that. But I mean, as far as I never got into obviously building much of anything, but the basic gameplay loop was still fun. Had a good time with it. It's one of those things where I feel like at some point in time I should end up getting into some sort of modding scene. I remember seeing one based around like automation in a settings that is like the back rooms. It seemed kind of fun. Might be something, or maybe just do Skyblock. That's a common thing. That's a fun one to do. Just do bots building bots. And the Incredible Machine, speaking of weird references again. Also, like always with the bake X amount of cookies just from a specific building. They got to figure out exactly how they would mount the normal icons onto a base. Yes, I love technology. And patently genius. I'm forgetting all them patents. It's weird because, the level 10 stuff often does not really have too much to do with the sort of stuff you're upgrading. I mean, Motormouth kind of does, and I think I didn't actually look at what you get for doing that when I was going through this earlier. Yeah, it's more syllables for incantations. 10 more syllables for incantations is a lot, so I suppose motor mouth makes sense. But yeah, not every one of them has something to do with what you're actually upgrading. Fit the bill, alone in the dark. I mean, you get references to stuff like The Incredible Machine and Alone in the Dark in this game. I tell you, it's the economy, stupid. Ah, you guys getting political in this one. It's a good quote, though. The nerve of war, and I need it now. Wait a second, that's not even a reference to, like, pop culture. That's a reference to like, hokey midday commercials you see. And, like, old ones. I don't even think that's like, I don't even know if they're on the air anymore. For some sort of, like, mortgage financing thing. I don't even remember exactly what that is. That's rich. Financial prodigy. Imagine how it would be at the top making cash money. I don't know what the reference is there, but boy, I would like to be at the top making cash money. Sounds good to me. Of course, in this game, cookies are money. So that's just kind of how it works. I mean, I am incredibly rich. There is something to be said about what Age of Empires. Age of Empires? Yeah. Holy cookies, Grandma. Vengeful and almighty. There's something to be said about, like, what would you even do if you were this powerful in the world? I don't even know. Simpsons reference to round out the temples. New World Order, Church of Cookieology, and thus spoke you. Which, considering the final upgrade of everything to the game, feels meaningful. Bewitched, the Sorcerer's Apprentice, charms and enchantments, curses and maledictions. Magic, and then right into Disney references. And then right into Harry Potter references, which that's owned by Disney these days, right? I need a volunteer from the audience. I would not do anything with cookie-related stuff. The Prestige, unrelated to the cookie clicker feature of the same name. It's not called Prestige. It's not even called that. You should update that because it's called Ascension and it's called Heavenly Chips. No, I guess it actually does say Prestige levels. Why do I have to get proven wrong as soon as I say something? Fine, you got me. I actually do call it Prestige levels. Well, never mind. Wow. Usually it at least takes a little bit before I'm proven wrong on something stupid. Hocus pocus. Too many rabbits, not enough hats. Well, the rabbits are being turned into cookies, as we've seen. So, yeah. Expedition Galactic Highway, far, far away. Type 2 civilization. You know, I do feel like shipments, considering the sort of extreme lengths you go when it comes to creating cookies, sort of feel like one of the less important ones. That's just peanuts. You might think it's a long walk down to the corner store, but that's just peanuts compared to space. A good reference. Space. It's too far away. I assume that's a Portal reference. I don't know. I never played Portal. And I'm never going to. You can't make me. Is there life on Mars? Yes, there is. You're currently using it as filling an experimental flavor prototype number 810,657. I wonder if it's any good. I remember a few years ago when they made Space Coke. True believers, go look at the 13 Sentinels episode called Space Coke if you want me to go into too much detail on that. And really, it was just raspberry Coke, but, you know, it was good. Raspberry's a good flavor. I mean, it's like, I often get like a mocha with, I often just get like a regular mocha as far as coffees go, but I will also get like sometimes a little bit of something extra in there. Lately, it was pistachio, which is been pretty good, but in the past it had been stuff like raspberry. cherry too. I think a cherry mocha is very good. I know. Oh, you look at oh yeah, with that sort of with the avatar icon that you use for the channel, it's like, oh, you like cherries? I do. We could all use a little change. Bad chemistry, metallic taste, sugar, spice, and everything nice. These were the ingredients chosen to create the perfect cookies. I mean, I don't know if it's everything nice, considering the sort of stuff that I'm making cookies out of. But, well, phlogisticated substances. I said earlier, I mean, considering that this is clearly being done over several days now, I did look it up. Phlogiston, or whatever it's called, apparently is supposed to be representative of, like, heat or fire in alchemy. And not like the night sky. I must have been thinking of something else. But yeah, it's sort of, yeah, it basically represents energy when during a time when alchemists had much less of an understanding of exactly how chemistry works. Now you're thinking with portals. I do know that reference. That is definitely a reference. Brain split? Oh, not BRANE split. Come on now. Forbidden zone. What happens in the vortex stays in the vortex, which is that old marketing slogan they use for New Vegas or New Vegas. Oh no. Oh no, I'm revealing other series that I still am putting off and how they still weigh on my mind. Reduced to gibbering heaps. Swiss cheese and not even remotely close to Kansas anymore. Which Eternal Lie, and finally, Bizarro World. I like the portals are fun. I mean, of course, you know that I'm all about like the fractal engines and stuff like that as far as flavor text goes. But also, at the same time, it's like things like the sort of wacky stuff to come up with for portals or, yeah, alchemy labs. They are fun. Cookie Clicker forever and ever, 100 years Cookie Clicker, all day long, forever, 100 times over and over. CookieClickerAdventures.com. Not even playing on the browser. 2, that is certainly what it's feeling like right now. We're nearly at the end. Everybody, just hold on a little bit longer. Everybody stop watching by this point in time. It's fine. It's fine. I've accepted that at this point. That nobody's watching this part. I want to show it off anyway to have it committed to video as part of like the complete and total part of this, but I'm not gonna lie that I am seriously considering just putting out the 10 minutes and leaving it at that. Somebody is probably gonna want to listen to this. I don't know who. I don't know what sort of person that could be, but well. Scientists baffled everywhere for 300 antimatter condensers. Exotic matter, downsizing. Oh, this is where they make the downsizing joke. Because they had the employee minification thing earlier. I feel like that was the perfect place to use it. What a concept. Particular tastes, flavors, one could even say. Nuclear throne. Okay. Hey, I did play that on the channel. It's a fun game. 20 years away forever. Supermassive, infinitesimal, powers of 10, and finally, Chubby Hadrons, the level 10. I am still so shocked that level 10 stuff, that took so long to get. It's such a huge thing to go, a huge ordeal to get all of these things, and I cheated, as I've said, as I've admitted many times up till now. Optical illusion for 450 prisms. And then you'll never shine if you don't glow. The sort of thing that's just, this is just unnormal. This isn't really even that much of a joke, optical illusion. That's just a thing related to lights. Enlightenment is a little bit more of wordplay. And bright side of the moon. Praise the sun. Okay. And finally, palatable. Lucked out for the chance makers. What are the odds? Grandma needs a new pair of shoes. I mean, I do have plenty of lucky grandmas out there. Million to one shot, Doc. Oh! They finally acknowledged me. Ever in your favor? Luck be a lady? Dicey business? Maybe a chance in hell, actually. I don't even know. Does chance even matter at this point in time when you have so many of these chance makers? There's just... You just have whatever. It doesn't matter. Fingers crossed. For 100 septillion cookies made entirely from chance. Chance alone. Self-contained, threw you for a loop, some of its parts. As always, bears repeating where all these bears come from. As always, fractal engines are some of my favorites. Recursion is funny. I don't know. Recursion's both cool and funny. Yeah. More information for achievement, please refer to its title. Again, you should put that one under self-referential tier. I mean, I suppose it doesn't actually say tiers or anything for this. Tautological. In and of itself. Blowing an Apollonian gasket. That's another one of those fractal shapes that exist. Needs of the many. Eating its own, and we must go deeper. Sierpinski rhomboids. Oh, is F12 how you open up the JavaScript console? Here, let me try. Well, not on this, I suppose. But this is also running in some sort of, browser emulation sort of thing for this game. So, I don't know. Threw you for a loop is also one that you could have easily used for the JavaScript stuff, right? No comments. That's not true. I've seen the code for this game. Works on my machine. Truly one of the greatest, at least related to any sort of tech work. Works on my machine is truly one of the greatest phrases ever invented. Dude, what if we're all like living in a simulation where I'll just code on a computer somewhere literally what that is? Did you see the final upgrade that I got for JavaScript? Curly braces, or as the French call them, mustache boxes. Goes well with quotes. I mean, that's what these are. It's curly braces around, but a dot. I don't know if the dot represents anything in JavaScript. I'm going to be honest, I'm not super familiar with JavaScript. Who knows? And finally, the Library of Alexandria. They'll never know what hit them. Considering the idle verses are one of the most evil ones that we got in the entirety of the game. Yeah. Unreal. Once you've seen one, I mean, they're all different in their own way. That's what the other Routes to Rome upgrade, talks about. Nobody exists on purpose. Nobody belongs anywhere. Come watch TV. Got to be a reference. Probably a song. That feels like a song reference. Got to get away from this place. Everywhere at once. Reject reality. Substitute your own. Lost your cosmic marbles. Yeah. And finally, greener on the other sides. No, it ain't. not with the sort of person that you are explained to be in this game. Earth 616. I believe Earth 616. That's the normal setting in the Marvel universe. It's like you're in the that's what that is. And there's a reference there. 616 is also one of the numbers of the beast. Oh, sure, everyone knows 666, but 616 is also another one. Trademark portmanteau of imagination and engineering. Even Cookie Clicker fears the legal reach of Disney. Mindfulness. The 10% myth. Yep. Doesn't make any sense. It's like, how huge a human brain is? You think we only use 10% of that thing? That's absolutely absurd and doesn't make any sense. And also, having more brain doesn't mean more smart, Looking kind of dumb, of course, a very good way to use the dumb theming that you decide for the Astro Fudge upgrades. Positive thinking. It's the thought that counts, yeah. Yeah. And finally gifted. My own clone. Now neither of us will be virgins. Yeah, okay. I assume that's what the stupid reference is. That ancient 4chan meme, I want to say? Ugh, I say. Overcrowding, strength in numbers, army of me. Know thyself. You ever look at yourself in a mirror and wonder what is going on inside your head? All the time. Do you think that I actually think out anything that I'm saying right now? No, that's silly. Not when I'm talking for 3 hours. Do you know how much thinking that would require? That's all you. And finally, self-improvement, which again has a little bit more to do with what I'm actually upgrading compared to the others. Builder, architect, engineer, lord of constructs. He saw the vast plain stretching ahead of him and he said, let there be civilization. Grand design, they'll remember you forever. Yes, my cookie clicker series. Truly my magnum opus. Nothing else that I ever create will come close to this. Ecumenopolis, getting a wee bit cramped. I mean, I think that's mostly due to the cookies rather than the buildings themselves. And a myriad, 10,000 buildings. I believe that is the actual definition of myriad, 10,000 of something, right? Most of your assets lie in real estate? No. 51.795 dual visiontillion cookies. An answer, augmenter, upgrader, lord of progress, goes with the lord of constructs. One can always do better, but should you? I hope. I mean, again, me rethinking how this terrible episode has been going. Keep going. What a very apropos piece of flavor text there. When there's nothing left to add, keep going. Yeah, it's like I feel like I should be doing better with just a little more. Also very apropos for this entire everything. Beyond quality, dwarfing all mankind's accomplishments. And then off we are, what's well, but don't let that stop you. All the stars in the heavens. It's strange that there's only one of those, 100 heavenly upgrades. You don't get anything for having all of them, just 100, period. Polymath, excellent, doesn't happen overnight. It takes a good couple days. That's definitely true for Cookie Clicker. And a Renaissance Baker, 400 upgrades, 8,000 buildings. If you have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants, a mysterious species of towering humanoids that until now were thought long extinct. Okay. One of everything, one of all the buildings. Then we got Mathematician, one of the most expensive buildings, 2 of the second, 4 of the next. Capped at 128. Because, yeah. Good luck getting that many... Good luck getting that many buildings when you get all the way down to you. Not only are they extremely expensive, it's like I only am able to get 1,100 cursors right now without spending all of my money. Yeah, it's like the next one is 25 vigintillion, which means that I could get plenty. I could even get like 100, right? No. My math was bad. 100, 150, bicentennial and a half. Keep on trucking. Tricentennial, can't stop, won't stop. You probably should stop. Well, I mean, I'm done now. I am actually stopping at this point in time. Quadricentennial, you've had to do horrible things to get this far. Horrible, horrible things that I feel like I've gone through in depth at this point in time. Quincentennial, some people say you're halfway there. We do not care for those people and the reckless sense of unchecked optimism. Yeah, especially considering that it doesn't even go all the way up to 1,000. It's just 700. So won't fill a churning void inside, you know. Well, it's not meant to. It's just a part of a journey. Also, I'm going to be honest. I don't really have like a churning void inside. It really was about getting everything, which I did accomplish, and I'm done. Yeah. Sexcentennial. Hey, nice milestone. Yeah. Okay. Sexcentennial and a half. Hope you're enjoying the grind so far. It gets worse. I know. Yeah, you're telling me. Because yeah, sexcentennial and a half. It's like I got that one long ago. All right. Golden cookie, lucky cookie, stroke of luck. Fortune, you should really go to bed. And I remember the first time that I got this one, 77 golden cookies. It was, I'll admit, pretty late at night. 777 golden cookies for Leprechaun. Black Cat's Paw for 7,777 golden cookies. And then finally, 27,777. Enough for one of those funky horses that graze near your factories. Now that one's my magnum opus as far as Cookie Clicker achievements go. Because this one was just, oh, what an achievement. Going off of the 27 cookies, because everything else is just based on 7, so I'm just glad there's no 77,000. Early Bird, Fading Luck, both very easily gotten with the cookie chain. Thick-skinned. I don't even know if I showed me getting this one, considering that through the 1,000 ascensions that I had to do, there's plenty of times where I didn't actually break the reinforced membrane. Jellicles. Get that Cats reference. Cookie Dunker. You did it. I don't even think I think I did that getting the crush the news thing together. But yeah, these are all like the weird ones that you can just get immediately, like here you go. Yeah, Tabloid Addiction, Stifling the Press. That was the one I think where I got the thing. Madeline's, Dashnet Farms Remembers, Never Click. But then there's also, and Uncanny Clicker. But then there's also True Never Click. Kind of defeats the whole purpose. I mean, it's just part of more stuff. Grandma Apocalypse, Wrath Cookies, Elder Naps, Elder Calms, Wrinkler Poker. There is apparently one extra upgrade that I'm fairly certain only exists in the mobile version of the game currently. Wrinkler Ambergris, which is just an extremely rare drop after you burst a Wrinkler. I am fairly certain it is not part of this game. I mean, taking a look, it's like I have 100% of achievements. I have 716 out of 716 upgrades. It would be 717 if it was actually included in here, right? I don't think they lie to you at any point in time about the number of upgrades. They might. But I'm fairly certain they don't. That is everything. Who knows? Oh dear, Slay of Hand, Reindeer Slayer. Reindeer Slayer is the one that's like, just weird. Weirdly grindy to get, even compared to a lot of the other achievements. I mean, obviously it's not the worst. That's still the 27,000, the Lucky Horseshoe, but ugh. It took a long time to do, all things considered. And the ones for getting all of the various upgrades for stuff, resurrection, reincarnation, sacrifice, easy come, easy go. Indeed. And a million is completely meaningless at this point in time for me. Oblivion, From Scratch. Many things. Wow. Now that's a very specific reference. There are many things that need to be erased. Shh. Dematerialize. Presto, where'd the cookies go? Gone. Turned into heavenly chips. For me. They keep continuously doing stuff. Resistance is futile, albeit entertaining. So few cookies, it's almost like you have a negative amount of them, which I do not think that is possible in any way. You get nothing. Good day, sir. Humble re-beginning, started from the bottom, and now we're here. REM reference. Oh, you're back. Missed us. The "oh, you're back" or "oh, you're still here." It was also used for Endless Cycle. Hey, it's you again after 1,000 ascensions. Ugh. Lazarus. Smurf account. I mean, that is what I did to make the series in the first place. More or less. I don't know. Can you call it a Smurf account if it's a single player game? I mean, I guess you can get you can get the presents or whatever, but why? It would kind of defeat the purpose of restarting the save file in the first place. To just cheat my way up to get back up stuff. I'm the Wiz. Wizard is you. And casting 999 spells. Also a pretty big grind compared to some of the other ones. It's like, yeah, for the big grinds that aren't related to getting cookies or upgrades or whatever, yeah, Wizard is you, 27,777 golden cookies, 200 deer, and then gaseous assets. Boy, how volatile for getting 31.536 million cookie dollars. Which is just like, that one just took a while. Not like it was hard. It's pretty easy to do most anything. I mean, that's the whole thing. Where it's just like, would you say that it's actually really hard to do stuff in this game? I think I would. No nobility and poverty. What kind of twisted individual is out there cramming camels through needle holes anyway? Sweet biblical references again. But yeah, I do think the sort of patience and commitment to this game, it might not be as difficult as... It's not difficult in the same way as getting really good at, I don't know, like Dead Cells or whatever. But I do think it's difficult in its own way. And I would say that. You win a cookie. We're all so proud of you. And then finally, cookie clicker. Unlock the final building. Everyone's here. Won't you have some cookies too? And that is the final achievement. Get a little parade of all the buildings going through. A lot of fun. There's also, of course, the shadow achievements, but I've seen those plenty of times. So much to do for so much to see. Thank you so much for playing Cookie Clicker. It's been a fun time, and I'm sure it's not over. As soon as there's any new updates, I'll be back.